Hey, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight?
Going for one of the top.
Oh man, here we go. Twitch. What's up, everybody? Waiting on this to go live and we'll be ready. Switch over here. You right here. There we go. Purnell, what's going on, brother? Here we go. Getting fired up. Trying to get fired up anyway. Go, Purnell. I'm the Lone Ranger until everybody else gets here. Lone Ranger until everybody else gets here. So, until everybody gets here, we are going to sit here and just shoot the shit. Couple of items of note, Bama related. I guess you saw that Jalen Milroe won an award, the William V. Campbell Trophy, given to the top college football player with the best combination of academics, community service, and on-field performance. So as much as we have comments on this show, that is a prestigious award for him. Oh yeah, FSU and Wisconsin. So Wisconsin at home and FSU is the neutral site game. So we have two, and the comments, even from the panel, like some of the comments were even like, "Oh yeah, you scheduled." Thank you for following, Bradman. You scheduled the worst team in the ACC, and then the team that finished last in the Big Ten. No, we scheduled them 8 years ago, and like I said, 2 years ago, Florida State was arguing to be in the championship or the playoff. But yeah, in all honesty, yeah. SMU in as a joke and Clemson is a joke. Like, I'm not going to get back into it because we've talked about that ad nauseum on this show. I will say this, and I'll leave it alone, and I'll be just honest and upfront. Alabama didn't deserve to get in. SMU didn't deserve to get in. Clemson got in because they won their conference. The playoff committee has already stated like this week, one of the things they're looking at removing is the automatic bye weeks going to a conference champion. So essentially what will happen is, you can win your conference, but you're not guaranteed an automatic bye. Because, I mean, Oregon really got the shaft on the scheduling for the playoffs. Oregon got an absolute shaft. Yeah, and Purnell, we do have Ohio State home and home in a few years. So, a lot of comments. Again, we've already said Alabama didn't need to be in the playoffs. We know that. As Bama fans, we know that. We know Alabama didn't deserve to be in that playoff. But someone brought up the point and they said, well, Alabama, they didn't lose. Okay, bear with me. They didn't lose to their out-of-conference opponents. So arguing that point is crazy. And I digress, and I'll admit, yes, that's a little crazy. Here's the problem. Alabama did lose to their out-of-conference opponent last year. It was their only loss in Texas. We would have been the number 1 seed last year and not played Michigan. We would have been the number 1 seed, and we would not have played Michigan until the finals. Not saying that would have mattered. Michigan really manhandled us last year, so mass respect to them. They had one of the best teams in college football, so mass respect to them. But yeah, that does make a difference. So when people say it does make a difference, it does make a difference. But anyway, I think it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors right now. I don't think anyone's going to quit scheduling people. At the end of the day, I think, like we said, we needed to win games that we didn't win. So it, is what it is. Anyway, so with that said, just shooting the shit, talking, transfer portal. Anybody seen any good news on transfer portal yet? Belichick in North Carolina. Yes. So that is very intriguing. Would you say the Gamecocks are the best team in the country? I don't think so, David. I don't think so. So it's easy if we're being unbiased, okay, and we're not talking, whatever. It's easy to say, are they playing hot football right now? Absolutely. They still got beat by Alabama. say what you want. They got beat. They got beat bad by Ole Miss. So, with that said, are they one of the best teams in the country right now? I mean, they have more of an argument to me to be in over SMU. Take Alabama out of the equation. There's going to be bias when I talk about Alabama because I'm a Bama fan. Ole Miss and South Carolina absolutely deserve to be in. I haven't had any excuses yet, Pineapple. Haven't had any excuses yet. I don't have to make excuses. I'm sitting on a college football throne. I witnessed more titles than most people will ever dream of. Oh yeah, man. But yeah, in all honesty, I do think Gamecocks are one of the best teams, and I do think they have an argument to be in over SMU. I really think the committee painted themselves in a corner by putting Alabama in that spot. There was really nowhere for them to go. Wait, so why is Bama out of the playoffs? Bama's out of the playoffs because they lost. They lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to OU. That's why Alabama's out of the playoffs. You just got to admit that. And if you're an Alabama fan at this point, you have to admit the truth. Milroe is a part of it. Milroe really struggled in OU. Really struggled. But yeah, I mean, you got to be honest. If you're going to sit here and talk, if you're going to talk college football, we have to be honest with ourselves. Alabama's out of the playoffs because of their own accord. It's not because of anything else. I will say, like I said, this is the truth though. SMU did not deserve the playoffs. Anyone that says that, there is a whole slew of arguments against it. Alabama did not deserve the playoffs. My point, hey, dogs look good, man. My point is Ole Miss, South Carolina, Miami all have better resumes than SMU. So say 3 L's, okay, Miami's got a better resume. I mean, it is what it is. If the 12th team was used 15 years ago, it would be a different story. Oh, my God. Okay. I don't think so. Anyway, but hey, man, Clemson didn't deserve it either, but Clemson won their conference championship. Like I said, those of you just now joining, we did just talk about this, but the committee has already stated this week they're looking seriously at getting rid of the automatic bye week for conference champions. So that does not say you still won't get an automatic bid. You just won't get the automatic bye, which I think is absolutely imperative. Forget Alabama, guys. I don't care. Alabama's not in the playoffs. I don't care. Oregon got the absolute shaft being the number 1 seed and having to play the hardest schedule of anyone in the playoffs. So absolutely crazy that they have to go. I mean, their first game is going to be Tennessee or Ohio State. I mean, and then more than likely they're going to play a Texas team. And then, you go play in the finals. They have a freaking road, dude. There's no way. There's no way. Yeah, hey, Melissa, welcome. Go Dogs. Georgia boy being here in a little bit. My whole Sooners team interest. Everyone's entering the transfer portal, guys. Like Alabama, I mean, we've got tons of people in the transfer portal right now. It's I think we've lost 8 now. We had another one jump in today. Irish have a good team this year. I think it's that's why I said Boise and all that stuff. That stuff is going to be considered out fairly soon. So North Carolina and finalizing the Bill Belichick deal, that's going to be huge. Thank you, Go Dogs. Thank you. The Bill Belichick's going to be huge. This guy, I mean, did you see his interview when they asked him about it? He basically came out and said, "Hey, the only thing I can tell you we're going to do here is we're going to get you ready to play in the NFL." If that is not like, I mean, it's Saban 2.0. You guys lost a GOAT and you just picked up another GOAT. I mean, he's at North Carolina. It's a hard program to win at. But I mean, dude, Bama 8-4 next season. Okay. Maybe. I mean, if it's that easy, you should be able to bet on it, right? You should be able to bet a lot on it. Hell, bet the house, bet the farm. I mean, golly, that kind of confidence, you should already know who's going to win every game. SMU back in now that they can legally. No, dude, come on now. SMU is not. I mean, so just so everyone knows, I looked this up. Okay, revenue and profits for the SEC football teams. Okay, the SEC football teams. Just SEC. Forget everyone else. SEC. Texas, far and away the most profitable, highest revenue, 165 million a year. Okay, 165 million at Texas. Okay, remember I've argued this point. I've argued people will not be able to keep up with Texas. So then you ask, where's Texas A&M? Texas A&M's third in the SEC, third with 138 million. You know who's second? The guy that said Alabama will be 8-4 next season. It's Alabama with 141 million. Now I say that to say this: the discrepancy between Texas and Alabama, the 1 and 2, is as great as almost, all the way down to like Vanderbilt. I mean, it's significant. It's significant how much more money they make in Texas. So it's just going to be crazy when the NIL just keeps shaking out, because there's going to be teams that are going to be unstoppable. People think that adds more parity to college football, but in all honesty, it's really just benefiting some of the biggest universities in the country. And I mean this: Michigan, Florida. Just go look at the list of states with the most billionaires, and then go look at the alumni list. Most of them are Ivy League, but there are some really big universities, like Michigan's on there. I want to say UCLA, USC. There's some big money out there, guys. As a Georgia fan, we overperformed. Have with our seat. Hey, man, y'all did good, man. Y'all did good. Yeah, SMU is going to get ran through. We all understand that. That is not. I mean, they're not. The money is going to drop but is Texas going to keep losing though? I mean, here's the thing: they've been relevant for 3 years now, guys. 3 years. I mean, they fell off after 2009 season. I mean, completely fell off the map. Had a string of bad hires. We can all agree. And then like Sarkisian comes, has a bad year, 7-5. No, not really good. Bama's been generating that much money consistently for the last 20 years. And that was before NIL. So the deal is, yes, you think because you think Bama's going to start losing. You think Bama's going to start losing. I'm telling you, nah. We could be 8-4 and still bring in that kind of revenue, because we always have a chance to be that good. I mean, we beat Georgia, one of the teams that's very heavily favored in the playoffs. We beat them with a team that's absolutely mediocre. We haven't. What are we whining about, user? No one even said anything about being in the playoffs. What are you doing, Lowell? I mean, we weren't even talking about the playoffs. Are you dim-witted? Because you think you deserve a place because of a name? Deserve a place to what? We haven't even talked about the playoffs. God damn, are you that silly in the head? We're not even talking about the playoffs. We're talking about revenue. What the fuck are we talking about? We're talking about revenue. Revenue. God damn, simple-minded people, man. Nick's gone after 3 years of 9-3, 8-4. They won't make any money. No, not true. Yeah, I don't understand. SMU is going to get ran through. You might as well stop. You might as well stop, Lulz, or whatever the hell you call your name. Put your money where your mouth is. Go ahead and bet on SMU. Go ahead and bet on them. Bet on them to win it all, because you got it figured out. Yeah, exactly, Megan. Anyone with any kind of basic marketing know-how or savvy understand these programs are just cash cows. They're not going anywhere. SMU boat race, buddy. They will be boat race. I think we all know. Who do you think's win the Heisman? So we're going to talk about that tonight. Actually, when the panel gets on here, we do have that scheduled. Let me just go over the topics we're going to touch on today. So we're going to talk about playoff rankings. So two of us, the Tennessee fans, have not had a chance to kind of go over who they think are going to, make moves in the playoffs. We're not doing predictions. Thank you for following. We're just going to talk about like who we think is going to make moves. So Alabama's not in it. So all these people cannot say anything to me about Alabama. I've already said they're not in it. We're not in it. We didn't deserve to be in it. But that being said, that's the end of that. Who do you think is going to win, Tennessee or Ohio? That's a tough one. I'm going to give the nod right now to Ohio State. I haven't done any research on this, but I'm going to give the nod to Ohio State simply because it's at home and at the Shoe, which is it's a tough place to play. But Tennessee's got a team, dude. If Ohio State does not prepare and thinks they're going to lollygag into that game, I mean, they've got a running game that's unstoppable. They've got a great defense. I mean, They've been more consistent this year than Ohio State has. SEC 2025 have been dropped. Yeah. That is the schedules are going to be great. We need to go over those too, don't we? We're trying to leave some freaking content for like the off season, but hell, we'll figure it out. Let's see here. Full schedules. I'm worried about how active Hugh has been in the portal. Hugh is going to be active because Hugh's on his last. I mean, he's on his last leg. So let's talk about Alabama's schedule. Let's see here. Do you think Ty is ready to make the? I hope so. I think he is. I think once he starts practicing the ones, he'll be okay. OSU is like a 60. Okay, yeah, I agree with that, Megan. I agree. I think Ohio State has a great team, great talent on that team. But if they sleepwalk into this game, so Bama plays at Florida State. Okay, Louisiana Monroe, Wisconsin at home. Bye week at Georgia, Vanderbilt at Missouri, Tennessee at South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, Eastern Illinois. So 2 Power 4 out-of-conference games, and then everybody we played this year. The talent size in college football players has increased 1,000%, increased competition. It's going to be the same teams, Pineapple, all the time. You can say whatever you want. It's going to be the same teams winning all the time. I mean, you know, let's be honest. Clemson, okay, they've been good here recently. They're back in the playoffs. I mean, they last second got in the playoffs. Georgia's been a dominating force in the playoffs. They're back in. Ohio State's a consistent staple in the playoffs. They're back in. Alabama was the first team out of the playoffs. Tennessee, okay, they're new. Oregon, they're always competing. Yeah, Alabama's out, dude. They're out. I mean, but you know, I mean, it is what it is. The same teams are still gonna be there. Oh, you're talking about Keelan Russell. Keelan Russell is absolutely, guys. The truth, if you haven't seen my TikToks, the truth is coming. Keelan Russell won the Gatorade High School Athlete of the Year, not football player, High School Athlete of the Year, and he's absolutely phenomenal. USC will be back. I think. Yeah, basically, Dr. Carmen, you're still going to stack people deep because when you lose to the portal, you're going to gain back from the portal. It is what it is. But you said FSU is going to be back. FSU will be back. I mean, FSU is only one season out of being a good team. So Tennessee could beat Ohio State. I do agree with you. You think we get Jones Jr. from FSU? Hey, man, we got Jones Jr., you got Concepcion from NC State. I mean, he's supposedly one of the big targets for us, and supposedly he's one of the top transfer portal targets of everybody, like the guy that can come in and make them, outside of your Miller Moss and stuff like that, your quarterbacks. And then Kelby Collins from Florida, which we recruited him very high. So Texas Tech soon. Yeah. Gee, I'm just telling you, the Big 12 is going to have to really improve. I almost don't like. I just don't even think that. Oh my gosh, there's no big team in the Big 12 anymore. It might as well be called the 12. DeBoer only gets one shot with the portal last year. Yeah, he's going to be fine. USC will never be back. Lincoln Riley, dude, I don't understand it, man. Lincoln Riley, dude, the quarterback whisperer. I mean, Caleb Williams just won a Heisman there. USC, FSU, and 5 stars are not sitting on the bench when they can still get a shot at the playoffs. I mean, yeah, 100%. But like I said, I mean, these 5 stars are still sitting on the bench. All those players that transferred from Alabama down to FSU to go play are literally every one of them. Like, they're all still friends. They're incredibly disappointed with the decision they made because most of those guys would have seen the field at Alabama. What's up, Kip? But anyway, I mean, hindsight's 2020. These kids, decisions, and there's consequences to every decision we make. Life's about choices, and there's consequences. But anyway, we're going to talk about playoffs. We're going to talk about the transfer portal. We're going to talk about Heisman finalists tonight, college football finalists for the awards show. There is some. Moss is at IU. Hey man, he'd be a good get. Clemson did put Alabama out. Yeah, I agree. Thank you for following Roll Tide. So really quick, we're not going to touch on most of it, but we are going to touch on it a little bit tonight. Ryan Williams is a candidate and the favorite to win the Sean Alexander Freshman of the Year award It'll be December 29th when that's determined. But his competition is Ryan Williams, Coy Parrish, a safety at Minnesota, Jeremiah Smith, also a good candidate, Dylan Stewart, a great candidate, and Colin Simmons from Texas. But Ryan Williams is a favorite right now. Sig, stop following on X. Who's Alabama playing a bowl? We're playing Michigan. Michigan. It is what it is. We take what what we can get. Like I said, I'm happy because I want to get to 10 wins. So to me, 10 wins means something. Anyone that's ever been a part of Alabama in the past knows that getting to 10 wins hasn't always been an easy feat for us. So 100% want to make sure that we can get to 10 wins as a program. The Revenue Bowl, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. George is prepared to pay $3 million if he hits 4. Get ready. He's already making $3 million, Scott. He's already got deals in place for $3 million. Did you not see? He just got a tattoo on his freaking calf of Alabama. So I'm ready. It's going to take more than $3 million. Yeah, I mean, that's right, Jason. I mean, it's going to take more than that. It's not going to happen. He's a lifelong Alabama fan. Yeah, I mean, he's already come out and said he's not going anywhere. Bama's Q. No, Dylan Lonergan actually he's transferring. He's transferring. He's in the portal today. He was the one that went in the portal today, which, that's big news because everyone thought he was going to be the guy. Him or Austin was going to be the guy behind Ty, but I think he's starting to get kind of wedged out. So it is what it is. Go Gators. Yeah, I mean, Gators, I think y'all got a pretty decent bowl game. Is it Tulane? Tulane? Yeah, Florida. Tulane at Florida. I kind of excited about that bowl game, actually, the Gasparilla Bowl. I think he goes to the draft. I mean, he's still everywhere that I've looked, every mock draft still has him as like the 3rd or 4th best QB in this draft. And guys, whatever we think, throw it out the window. I'm going to tell you this: Will Levis stinks. Will Levis has always stunk. He stunk at Kentucky, but when it went to the NFL, the combine, the intangibles, they thought he was a great quarterback. The league thinks Jalen's a great quarterback and they can do wonders with him. So, hey, man, have at it. Where is Sanders going? Sanders. Who? Sanders? Who is Sanders? I'm sorry. I'm missing it. Thoughts on UGA with Gunner starting? Well, Riddle's come out, big Georgia fan, and he said he's more confident. He is more confident. And I don't know if it's a matter of thinking that Gunner's prepared to do what's necessary, or if it's a matter of taking the liability out of the game that Carson Beck has brought this year. I don't know. But even with the young mistakes that he's probably going to make, Riddle's more confident. So with that said, I mean, Shedeur. Shedor's going to be up there. Shedor's probably going to be the number one. If it was me, guys, and I'm the NFL and I'm a GM, I am taking Cam Ward as my first quarterback. I'm taking Cam Ward. He was great for Washington State, so we know it's not just a Miami thing. He was great for Miami. He deserved better than Miami. Miami had no defense, and as much points as he put on the board, they should have easily been undefeated and one of the best teams in the playoffs. But they have no defense. So Cam Ward is a great quarterback. Sanders is going to go up there, though. He'll be a top 10 pick. And that's going to be huge for Colorado because Colorado, man, they just got a 5-star and Juju Lewis. And, probably two players, top 10 picks. I mean, UCF Knights finally fired Gus and brought Scott. I saw that. Scott Frost coming back is interesting. Good for them. Scott Frost did wonderful down there. Yeah, if Milroe did come back, I do think it would be more of a detriment. He is still a senior. He's still he's a leader in terms of if he came back. But I'm just telling you, I think he's hit a ceiling with us. And I don't mean that as in he could go and have a great NFL career. I'm just saying his ability, whatever we're doing, it's not correlating with him. It's not registering in his head. And so it really, I don't know, it just seems like he regressed this year very badly. Very badly from where we left him last year. It just regressed. I did not see consistency. I did not see any better ability to read the field. I did not see any better ability to go through his progressions. I saw either throw the ball deep, first read, or take off and run. And half the time he didn't even want to take off and run. Vandy versus Georgia Tech in bowl thoughts. I like Georgia Tech because I like Haynes King, man. I like Pavia too, but Haynes King against Georgia, dude, I've not seen anybody like that. Dude was a warrior, and Georgia Tech just seems like they're finally getting their act together. Tattoo Baker, am I talking about Ryan Williams? What are we referring to? Where is the crew? They'll be here. They'll be here, Jackson. They're supposed to be. They had to work, so they'll be getting on right at time. They'll probably be here though. I think they said they're going to be here. They won't be here this weekend though. Two of them won't be here this weekend. It'll just be me and a couple of us this weekend. Do you see changes of coordinators in Alabama? I don't know, man. See, you like Womack, and I sit here and I highlight the Vanderbilt game to you and say, is Womack a good fit when we gave up 40 points to Vanderbilt? Our refusal to make any adjustments in that game and, I don't know, do anything to stop Pavia was pretty. I don't know. You said that. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know how loyal Milroe is. With Saban, it was business as usual. Like it's a business decision. He was going to do what he had to do to take care of the program, take care of the process. I don't know how DeBoer is going to be yet. Show the world he couldn't pass. Yeah. So all Oklahoma did was put pressure on him, put everybody in the box, and make Jalen beat you throwing, and covered it deep, and he couldn't do it. 4-2-5, no, it's not going to stop any run. And here's the real issue. We say 4-2-5. It's not a 4-2-5. We don't have 4 D linemen down there. We've got 3 D linemen and a small jack-sized linebacker. And that's why we run a true 3-3-5. And the 3-3-5 is that old West Virginia Big 12 defense that got ran on all the time. The defenses that Ricky Williams and Barry Sanders ran roughshod on, back in the days. These defenses stink. Yeah, Saban is gone. Saban is gone. We were comparing how we handled coordinators to Saban. Oklahoma has history. Yeah, they do. I mean, Oklahoma does have a history of beating Alabama. I mean, it's like I said, this year, could we beat Oklahoma if we played them right now? Yeah, sure we could. We could beat anybody. I mean, we beat Georgia. The problem is we don't know what kind of consistency we're going to get out of the team. I mean, that's the thing. And our biggest issue, like I said, has always been Milroe. All right, there's one of them. Our biggest issue. It's always been Milroe. There's one of them. Let's go to Duo. Let's get on the screen. There he is. All right. All right. Who do you think, Al? I think it's going to be Ty Simpson if Milroe leaves. If Milroe doesn't leave, we need to probably pay him NIL money to leave. Time to stop comparing to say, oh, I've said many times it's over. But remember, we don't change our expectations because we don't have the same coach. Our expectations never change. Venables pretty smart. Yeah, Venables is smart. He's always been good. I've been telling my homeboys that Ewers should leave UT and go to SMU. Get out of here. You're not leaving Texas to go to SMU. There is no way. There's no way. Hey, what about Darian Mensah going to Duke? That's a big sign. That's a big signing.
Yeah, he was the top player in the portal and decided to take his talents to Duke over there. It's a little surprising, but
yeah. So, like I put in there, do you think they upgraded from Malik Murphy?
I think they're very similar quarterbacks, but
yeah. I've seen both of them have games out of this world, and both of them absolutely just get shut down.
Yeah, Memphis did that to Tulane there.
Yeah, and I mean Army,
but Mensah's super young. He's just going to get so much better. So I actually like that's a big get for Duke.
Yeah, and Jason G said I think Malik Murphy's going to be a steal for someone. He played okay for Duke. I mean, he had several ups and down games. It's Duke. And they had 9 wins. They had 9 wins. It's Duke. Yeah. Did y'all see that?
It's Manny Diaz.
Yeah. Did y'all see I have the 2025 SEC schedules pulled up. Yes, I do. And it's not on the agenda today, but because it just came out. But we'll go ahead and I'll just touch on Bama's while we're sitting here and Riddle. So Alabama plays at Florida State, Louisiana Monroe, Wisconsin at home, at Georgia, Vanderbilt, at Missouri, Tennessee, at South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, Eastern Illinois. So 2 Power Fours out of conference. And I mean, a slew of what teams I would consider to be top teams next year with South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia. If you just leave those, and not talking about LSU, Oklahoma right now, but just those three teams, I think are going to be solid SEC teams next year. And let's look at Georgia's. Georgia, here we go. Marshall, Austin P.
Hey, Conference USA champs.
Yeah. Austin P. This is interesting.
They moved this one around.
At Tennessee, bye week, Alabama, Kentucky, at Auburn. Did y'all play Auburn this year?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Ole Miss, bye week, Florida, and Atlanta. Interesting. I guess they've changed that, right?
That's where the stadium's going to be going under renovation.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So
I think you told me that.
This year's in Atlanta, then next year it's going to be somewhere down there in Florida, and then it'll go back.
Oh, it's Raymond James, I think. I think it's Raymond James.
Yeah.
Okay. At Mississippi State, Texas, Charlotte, at Georgia Tech. So big schedules. I mean, nothing crazy. Nothing. I mean, the whole thing. Go ahead.
Did you notice on the Georgia schedule, the Georgia Tech game, it's in Atlanta, but it's considered a neutral site game? They didn't even put it as an away game.
No, I didn't see. I didn't read it. Oh, man. Russell finna be a weapon. Yeah. Hey, the truth is coming.
There was a good question back there. I don't know if you touched on it before I hopped on a little while back. I think his name's Keelan, said, I don't know if Belichick will translate to college well. Thoughts?
Oh, thoughts on that. So we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, or when this first went. I think he's going to be okay. And the reason why I say this, guys, he's a little older. Recruiting is not what we remember. Okay. We just had our early signing day. Recruiting is nothing like it used to be. Now it's all about getting out a paycheck or checkbook, writing a check and saying, come play for me. Belichick's going to be able to do that. He's a great assessor of talent. He is an X's and O's guy. I mean, Saban learned a lot from Belichick. So, I mean, like I said, this dude's probably the greatest coach the NFL's ever seen. I think he's going to be okay, especially if he puts the right people around him. I mean, that's just the way I look at it. I mean, I think he's going to set himself up. He's smart enough to do that. Plus, it's college. I mean, everything that he had in the NFL was with a team that you were forced to play with, pretty much.
How the hell did the two guys that worked today beat Jordan on?
I got to find out why Tony's not showing up.
He's showing up on mine. I'm gone on mine.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what happened there. I got to figure it out. Where is it?
I just think North Carolina, I mean, you're an up and down team. You've had some good years. You've had some bad years. You're not really a championship caliber team year in and year out. So there's really no risk in taking a guy like Belichick. He is going to bring in the players off of his name alone. And
there we go. We're all here now.
People are going to want to play for him because he's a Hall of Fame NFL coach.
Yeah. I loved his interview.
It's absolutely worth the risk for North Carolina. I think it was a good hire. We'll see about the contingency of his son taking over once he's done and how that works out. But
his interview was absolutely. I don't know if you heard any of it, but he basically said, "My message to these kids is going to be: you come here, it's going to be an NFL factory. I'm going to be the guy that gets you ready to go to play in the NFL." Does anyone doubt him? Does anyone doubt what he says?
Kippy said a lot of pros hated playing for him. Yeah, that's because a lot of pros. He was a perfectionist. He was like a Saban.
Yeah.
And the difference was Saban was getting college kids ready for that next level. Belichick was dealing with guys that were already there and getting paid. It's a lot harder to make those guys do the right thing all the time.
So D said he's not going to be good without a guy named Brady. So I'm not going to disagree and say Brady was very instrumental in helping him, but he's going to go out and pick whatever QB he wants. That's the difference. He's not going to get like Brady left. I mean, basically just didn't want to pay him anymore. That's what happened. I don't think it's because, Belichick just said, I don't want this guy anymore.
I like Roll Tide's comment. It says, thought if Ryan Day loses first round of playoff, does he get fired or do they keep him? Let me tell you something. From everything that I've been reading, not so much from their administration and the athletic department, but from a fan standpoint on Ohio State blogs and everything.
This is fantastic.
One guy came out and said it's sad that Ryan Day has to beat Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, and Georgia to keep his job. The fans are not happy with him. There's been talks of boycotting that first round playoff game. They are very unhappy, and it's all goes back to that Michigan loss. I mean, that's a cardinal sin at Ohio State, and I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good coach, but there's a lot of people unhappy up in Columbus. So,
he interviewed for NFL jobs. He didn't get them. I mean, a lot of people think he's over the hill, but it is what it is. I mean, yeah. I think personally, Ryan Day. I'm kind of on the Jordan side of things. I agree with Riddle. The fan sentiment echoes probably a lot louder than what's going on inside the actual program itself, because it's a business. You know that Ryan Day is going to get you to the playoffs every year. I think we can all agree to that. He beats Penn State every year. He loses to one team, Michigan. He's been on the doorstep. That Ohio State-Georgia game a couple years ago was absolutely for the national title. I mean, it was a 1-point game. Was it a 1-point game? Is that right? Riddle, the 1-point game. I mean, that game was one of the most phenomenal games in all playoff history. I mean, I know we've all had several, but that was absolutely a game and a half. And, I mean, he a couple plays away from winning that. So, I don't know. I do agree, though. Like, I mean, the fan base can obviously impact a lot. So, it'll start getting louder, and it'll get warmer for sure.
What up, Tony? You hadn't said a word since you came in.
Sure haven't. Scotty said,
I've been hearing the background noise, but not you.
Yeah, Scotty said their roster should win it all. It should, but they didn't beat Michigan, so.
Yeah, and that's just atrocious.
Justin says it's crazy how many of these coaches in the playoffs coached under Saban and were groomed. I mean, that's the true measure of success for Saban. Don't even look at titles, guys. Look at the coaches that he helped. Not saying built by anything. I'm saying he helped them in some form or fashion.
Yeah, a lot of them went on to somewhere else and got fired.
Yeah. But I mean, because it takes an artist, takes very dedicated person to go do what Saban does and try to, keep that team together. Jimbo Fisher sucked at it. Absolute terrible.
Wasn't the great Jim McElwain part of his tree too?
Yeah, Jim McElwain. Yes, Saban actually kind of let him go because he was one of those ones where the offense was kind of just getting stagnant. He didn't let a lot of people go, but he would let them move on into warmer pastures, I guess. Let's see here. Thoughts on NIL? Personally, feel like there should be a cap. I think we all would probably like a cap.
Jackson said, "What is Bill Belichick going to UNC in basketball terms? Pat Riley or
Dean Smith coming back to life." I'm just playing. Don't say that.
I'm thinking of a really a great NBA coach going to college.
Yeah. Bill Self.
He's already a college coach.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I was thinking I'm going backwards. Let's see here. It's tough. Greg Popovich.
I mean, that's a good one.
5 titles in the NBA. I mean, Greg Popovich would be a very good answer. Him taking over a college program. So the biggest Phil Jackson
Phil Jackson's like the.
That's probably as close as, because Bill Belichick's still one of the best coaches ever.
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, it's exactly the same. And the reason, go ahead.
Phil, I was just going to say Phil going to college would be pretty close. That'd be pretty good.
Huge. That would be huge. Jimbo was fine until he left for A&M. I don't know, man. Everyone that was around that Florida State program said he absolutely left it in shambles. And I mean, it's obvious that it took a while to get back to normal. Yeah, that would be huge, man. Belichick going. The only question is, how's he going to do with recruiting? And I think with the new NIL situation, I think he'll be okay. But we'll see.
I can't wait for Jordan to get on.
Yeah.
To ask him the question. I sent it in our group earlier, but the fact that they're trying to pass that bill in Ohio. Hey, there he is. I'll just wait a second.
There's old Goober. There's old Goober nuts. Oh, God dang. I got to fix all these again. Hold on. Yeah, sure. That one's a recurring.
It's like a Russian roulette. Where will Jordan be today?
Yeah. I haven't changed anything, so I don't know why it's.
No, I was talking about when his camera comes on.
Tony's there. I'm here. I need Jordan.
Well, wherever he's at, he's got the TV going pretty good. There he is.
There he is. He's good. He's good. Oh, good.
Before your camera came on, I was like, "There's a TV going on in the background or something."
He said, "Where's Jordan going to be at today?"
Hey, hold on.
All right. He's going to bring in Brady as OC. I'm telling you, I would be absolutely here for that. I would love it. I would love every second of it. Oh my God.
Never going to happen.
I know,
yeah,
but it would just
happen.
It would just be awesome.
When he's running the Raiders or helping.
Yeah, he's helping.
Not happening.
Yeah, I'm just saying it would be awesome. Plus, I don't know if they ended on the greatest of terms anyway. I don't know.
They're good. Yeah, that was just
I think they're
bullshit.
I think they're good. Do you think he'd go coach with them? I don't think that would happen.
Hell.
So before we get started, I just want to get Jordan's live reaction and Tony's reaction where I can see them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm just going to read a statement, and I want your reaction.
Let's hear it.
All right. Ohio State Representative Josh Williams introduced a bill Tuesday that would classify flag planting at Ohio Stadium around Buckeyes football games as a felony.
Well, that's typical Ohio State, but
if y'all want to start passing the hat, I'm off that weekend. And win, lose, or draw, I'll go out there and plant a flag and dare them to do anything about it. I mean, fucking pepper spray does not scare me. I mean, experience I had at Cracker Barrel Saturday night, and that utter disappointment. There's no way a culinary experience in prison could be any worse.
I think he's not. The representative's didn't even go. He's not even from Ohio. He didn't even go to Ohio State. I think he probably just trolling too, making them look bad.
Yeah, you know how that shit is.
Yeah. So Ohio lawmaker
on an epic level.
Yeah, the top of that article, it says if an Ohio lawmaker gets his way, teams attempting to plant their flags in the middle of Ohio Stadium during Ohio State games will be dealing with more than just pepper spray.
Oh my God!
And if you watch the video I sent at the end, he was speaking, and he said Ryan Day should be gone. The video I sent was him.
Well, he's not the only one.
I know.
So as far as felonies go in the state of Ohio. So this says, according to Williams' bill, no person shall plant a flagpole with a flag attached to it in the center of the football field at Ohio Stadium of the Ohio State University on the day of a college football competition, whether before, during, or after the competition. Whoever violates this section is guilty of a felony of the 5th degree. A 5th degree felony is the least severe in Ohio and carries a penalty of 6 to 12 months in prison and up to a $2,500 fine and up to 5 years probation.
That's it.
Shit. You speak for yourself. It ain't worth it to go plant a damn flag. I wouldn't even want my damn flag to be in that damn stadium. Oh my God. Anyway.
No, we ain't gonna have a flag. We're gonna have a belt there. In 2 weeks.
Hey, thank you, Fallen Keelan. Here we go. We're gonna just before we get started on the podcast portion, I am going to go over this because it wasn't on the agenda, but they did release the SC schedules, and I'm going to say I've already went over Georgia's, went over Alabama's, Tennessee with that whopping Syracuse out of conference game. Everything else is pretty much the same as this year.
That's good strategy for Tennessee. There's no reason to be playing tough games.
I know. It's crazy to hear it from a Tennessee fan, but
Georgia. Let me tell you something. Georgia scheduled their opening game against the Conference USA champions that just lost their entire team to the transfer portal.
I mean, we all know we schedule these things years in advance. That's not an issue. But Tony, this is the only reason I bring this up. We play at Florida State first game, and then third game we play Wisconsin at home, which we can say they're bad, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm sure they'll get transfer portals.
Florida State's hurting bad, though.
I
thought maybe Florida State might take a run for that kid from Tulane.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently they don't like good quarterbacks.
He went to Duke. I don't understand how you anyway, we talk about
good
that
quarterbacks, I guess.
I think they're hoping DJ Uiagalelei gets a 17th year of eligibility.
I don't think they want him back. I don't think they want him back. I don't know. That dude was whew. All right.
That's the best thing ever happened to Dabo Swinney, him transferring out.
All right, we're gonna get started with the podcast portion. Y'all bear with us. We're gonna get started. Like I said, keep spamming questions in the chat. We'll catch them as soon as we get to them. But we got a lot of content to go over today. With that said, we're at 45 minutes. All right, welcome back to Lock, Loaded, and Goated podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Andrews. We got Tony Pardo at the top, Jeff Riddle Jr. in the Georgia hat, and we got Tennessee's finest, Jordan Elkins, sitting right above me. And we are Lock, Loaded, and Goated, and this is the weekend roundup. So we've got a huge show today. So we've got playoff rankings. So Riddle and myself came on Sunday, kind of talked with the playoff rankings with everyone, our opinions, all that stuff. But we haven't heard from the two Tennessee fans who did make the playoffs. We haven't heard their opinions on that. So we're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on some transfer portal. We're going to touch on Heisman finalists. Any notable college football award finalists, we'll touch on those. I do have some questions for the panel I want to hear about. And then we're going to talk about the Army-Navy game, which is this weekend, and then Phase 1 bowl picks, which would be any bowl game before the playoffs start. Everything after the playoffs is inconsequential at this point. So with that said, we're going to get started, and we're going to just simply turn it over to Jordan and Tony, because this is our first reaction from you guys on the playoffs, the rankings, how you feel about Tennessee making it, the spot. Just one of y'all take off and run.
Well,
There's not a whole lot, honestly, to run with that hasn't already been said on here, and now finally in the national media. I know I texted y'all the other night in our group chat. I did hear, and this was on Uncle Ron Slay on the 3HL. I can't remember, it was him or Doherty One had mentioned that Chris Lowe, who used to be a beat writer for Tennessee, he's with ESPN now, had said that I guess the committee has already committed next year to doing away with the buys for a guaranteed buys for conference champions.
Here.
If they do, that's a huge step in the right direction. Just looking back at it right now, how it's going to play out. Obviously, you can't go change rules right here mid-season. So this will play out how it is. Moving forward, you may not have this issue. If you're looking right now, Oregon got absolutely hosed.
They got skull fucked
on their entire side of the bracket. Let's
terrible.
face it, Georgia's got pretty well, as long as Stockton holds up, they pretty well got a cakewalk in, or what should be. I'm sure it'll be, as Jeff knows how Georgia's played this year, I'm sure there'll be some exciting moments, like it or not. But, Oregon, you get the winner of Tennessee, Ohio State, which, let's be honest, neither isn't really what you want your first game of the match, the playoff to be after a bye. And then if after that matchup, if the favorites went out, you'll play Texas. You've absolutely got hosed if you're a Ducks fan on your side of it.
Outside of Tennessee, that's the hardest. That's the hardest road outside of Tennessee.
Tennessee by
and
far has
Ohio
the
State,
hardest road.
But yeah,
if you look at it, just assuming that the favorites win, it'll be Ohio State in Columbus, Oregon in the Rose Bowl, Texas at the semifinal, whatever that location is, and then Georgia in the finals.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough road.
Absolute murderer's row of basically who's who of college football this year.
Yeah, and that's what they wanted.
So if they win it, damn it, they've earned it.
Yeah, they did.
There'll be no denying that.
100%. Okay, Tony, what do you feel? Any thoughts on the seeding? We did touch on this. We did say
yeah.
on Sunday that Tennessee got fucked. We said that very
pretty
clearly.
much, yeah. It is what it is. First off, this with the seedings, obviously the committee doesn't give two shits about strength of schedule or anything else important. They only care about the wins and losses, and they don't care if the best teams got in or not. They're just strictly going by who made it to the championship game, and that's it. But Tennessee, they got the shaft. You can look at Ohio State got the shaft too, because that pretty much solidifies them. They're not winning shit this year. They're not making it through that. There's no way. Oregon, yeah, they got screwed as the number one. So I mean, that's what happens when you have this weird setup that they did this year. You know, where certain teams got buys when obviously they didn't deserve that. So Penn State, I don't care what their record is. Tennessee easily could have unseated them from that spot. You know,
that Penn State, man, that whole bracket, that whole corner of the bracket was made just to try to get them into the damn Final Four against Georgia and try to legitimize them as a team this year. And if they get there, they're going to get belt to ass. I'm going to say there's going to be a lot of belt to ass issued in this playoff. And that'll be one of the worst beatings if it gets there. I hope it pans out because that'll be an absolute beat.
Yeah, and regardless of where Tennessee was seeding, you know, it's whatever. I mean, Tennessee, they can easily play up the competition pretty well. Ohio State can't, I feel like. They like to play down a lot. They're more of a finesse team anyways. Tennessee's a power team. Tennessee could easily win this. They could easily blow them out, or Ohio State can squeeze one out. It's probably going to be one or the other. And apparently Ron Day wants to end these type of offenses that, you know, Tennessee runs. So good luck with that. Because
stop it.
Yeah, I mean, good luck with that. You couldn't even stop
the same
Michigan.
thing with planting a flag in the field. If you don't want it to happen, then don't lose.
Right.
But I mean, other than that, yeah, Notre Dame, it's whatever. I mean, a lot of it's whatever. I've had time to mull. SMU was still shocked to me that they made it, but I guess they did stick by the word on that. I guess no one would be punished making the conference championship, but
Yeah.
I just think it's ridiculous that you don't have a ranked win all season. I don't care if you have just 2 losses. And people shouldn't be saying, "Oh, if you just win your games," that's stupid. Because if that's Tennessee, probably would have went undefeated if they play SMU schedule. You see what I'm saying? They just got in because ACC was down, and they made it to the championship game when they shouldn't have probably, but. It is what it is. They'll get smoked by either Penn, hell, maybe in Boise. I don't know. But the seating is all jacked up. It doesn't look right. That's not how it should be. Like, I prefer more of a college basketball style seating, how they do things. It would be better than this mess that we have going on. But no, it is what it is. Just got to deal with it now.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, this is the first year. There's a
I already think it's going to get better. Like you said, Jordan, if they're gonna make a commitment to saying we're going to get rid of this automatic buy, that automatically would have eliminated. There's ironic. He said, "Go Big Orange." Brian Gay said, "Go Big Orange." So he's on the purple. So it seems like they're trying to make efforts to getting better. So I commend them for that and having the I guess the quick thought to do it and get it out in the public's eye as quick as possible, because I think that is an issue. Okay, well, with that said,
before we move on, I just want to say that if for those out there that haven't, go listen to Joel Klatt's breakdown on the rankings and everything about this. He broke it down the best of anybody I've heard so far, and I agree with everything he said. If you haven't had a chance, go check him out. It was really good and really insightful, and you'll understand why Penn State is ranked 2 spots higher than Ohio State, even though Ohio State beat Penn State and they have the same amount of losses, and why Tennessee and Ohio State ended up in that 8-9 spot playing each other. And how shitty it is that the clear-cut number 1, all 62 votes, unanimous in the AP, clearly the number 1 team has the toughest road out of the teams that got the bye.
Yeah, the only undefeated team. I mean, I don't know of any other ones. So someone in the chat spammed thoughts on Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame's defense. They do
They
have
had
a
good
good
defense.
They have a good running game. It's going to be about matchups and who they play. So
Mhm.
that's
It's hard
that's
to judge them. It's hard to judge them really because
They haven't played anybody.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's competition. It's hard to judge them. They're okay. They're a good team. I'll give them that.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. Right now, it's Notre Dame and Arizona State are probably the two hottest teams coming into the playoff. I mean, both of them have been handling business
yeah.
right down through the end of the year. Notre Dame stumbled. Arizona State had some losses, but finished the season. What was it, Jeff? 5-0 in November.
Mhm.
They
And then,
finished hot.
absolutely, destroyed Iowa State in that conference championship game.
Here-
I mean, so they're on a 6-0 roll right now.
Here's my thoughts on Notre Dame. Against everybody they played on their schedule that they were supposed to dominate, they dominated. And we know football games are won in the trenches. But it was eye-opening watching them against USC. Both sides of their line struggled against USC. Now, that's a Power 4 team that's going to have equal size and equal talent to a Notre Dame. And Notre Dame took them down to the wire. I mean, there was 2 pick sixes late that really separated that game.
Right.
So I don't know if Cignetti's boys have that kind of size and talent to match up with them. We will see. But seeing what a mid USC team did to Notre Dame makes it worrisome for Notre Dame moving forward.
I'll just say, like, the only problem I've got is every one of our teams struggled at some point. Oregon struggled with Wisconsin. You like you pointed out how bad Wisconsin was this year, and they only beat Oregon by 3 at the end of the game. Every team in this playoff has had some form or fashion of struggle. Notre Dame certainly had theirs. They've had less than others because I don't think the talent of the competition has been there. But we'll see. I mean, do I think they can beat Indiana? Sure. Do I think Indiana can beat them? Sure. Whoever makes the fewest mistakes. I mean, I think that's what it's going to boil down to, just basic football.
And isn't that the Friday night game too?
Yes, and we were talking about that. I'm very excited about that. That's a good game to get started on because we'll get a taste of the
I'm
playoff.
glad that was the Friday night game and not like the 11 o'clock kickoff on Saturday.
Dude, that right there. Yeah, that's absolutely. I mean, I'm glad Ohio State, Tennessee is the prime time on Saturday. That is the game. Thank you for the follow. Okay, so everybody good? We're going to move on to transfer portal news. The big signee today was Darian Mensah signing with Duke. So Malik Murphy decides to go elsewhere, and the top prospect that Riddle alluded to earlier committed to Duke on the spot, I guess, when he went and visited. So that is fantastic news for the Duke Blue Devils because they get rid of one quarterback who I thought played very decent for them this year. Probably wanting to go out and seek greener pastures, potentially have NFL, and they grab probably the hottest guy in the transfer portal, and that's over Moss, which I guess Moss is probably going to be one of the top ones now. I mean, wouldn't y'all agree? I mean, outside of Mensah, he's probably the next guy up. I didn't know if there was anything y'all had. I know we've been throwing things around the group chat, but any big news in the transfer portal since it's still early, but I know there's some big names Alabama's going after that have SEC implications, but it's all just too early to really understand where everyone's going to go.
Yeah.
The only one I would say that I'm looking forward to is Luke Haas from Arkansas, their tight end. So, I mean, he's probably one of the, he's not one of the best. I don't want to say that, but he's solid. But outside of that, we've got some people from Florida, and then obviously the Concepcion kid from Concepcion from NC State. But all right, so no portal news right now.
Did any of y'all see the talking about the portal? The interview with the what's his name? The head coach at Colorado State. I can see his face right now. Did any of y'all see his interview on the portal?
Mm-mm.
I did not.
I saw it earlier, and if I can find it, I will send it to y'all. I'm sure I can find it again. But he was basically, he said, people don't realize what's going on in this portal, especially with like group of 6 teams. He said, we've got kids. He said, I know every team has kids that aren't looking to hit the portal. He said, but you've got these agents out here that'll call up Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, USC, whoever, and say, look, I can get this kid to transfer. What do you give him?
Mm-hmm.
School A, hey, I'll give him, $150,000. School B, hey, I'll give him $175,000. hell, somebody might chip up 200. So then he'll DM this kid and be, hey, you need to call me. I've got some NIL offers for you out there, you know, and that's kind of how this is going as far as the tampering side of things. And he, of course, he said an NFL, what is the NFL agents take 3%. That's their cut, 3%. Well, these guys telling these college kids that, you know, an hour ago weren't going to transfer, all of a sudden, hey, man, I can get you 200,000, but I'm going to take 20% of that, you know, as my fee for getting you that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so apparently there's a lot of that going on through, you know, the Group of Five, and I'm sure through FCS and everything else.
Sounds like AAU basketball.
There was
That's exactly.
there
what it
was a
sounds like.
couple big things I just want to touch on real quick from the Georgia camp. It's been pretty quiet as far as people going. We knew that Julian Humphrey was going.
Yeah.
Could care less. He got benched in the Tennessee game. I was on his ass all year. See you later. Nitro Tuggle announced he planned to enter the transfer portal on Monday and then turned around Tuesday and said, just playing. So for that, here's a shot.
He's back on them championships.
He said, just playing.
Appreciate you making a good decision. There are two receivers that are expected to visit Georgia this next week. Dane Key from Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of their top receivers. And then Eric Singleton, the wide receiver from Georgia Tech, their top wide receiver. Both of them are in the portal and are expected to come over and visit and join the good side. So
yeah. Dane Key is definitely on the list too of people that we're watching. Obviously, if he goes to Georgia, we won't have a good shot.
I'll be honest with you right now, though. That's like, we've got 3 guys that hit the portal.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on a playoff team and you hit the, what is it, Tony?
We've had 5.
Oh, is it 5 now? Okay.
It's 5 now.
Motherfuckers are irrelevant. I mean, if you hit the portal before the fucking playoffs, that tells me all I need to know about your heart and your character. Mm-hmm. And you're out there chasing a bag. You're not chasing championships.
Yep.
Well, okay, but like Riddle said, Julian Humphrey was already going to leave. He knew he was leaving when he got benched. So, I agree with you. I agree with you.
He's irrelevant. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he is irrelevant. Yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
100%.
have a spot to stay for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing if a guy's like, if you know that, hey, I don't have a spot to come back to, then get out, go play. I mean, your window's coming to a close, go play. But I mean, some of these other guys that are just hanging out and, well, I'm gonna go hit the portal and let me, kind of like the Caden Proctor a couple years ago. I'm gonna go home to Iowa. Well, let me get this in Iowa. Well, I'm gonna come back to Alabama. Shit like that. It just tells you where those guys stand from the start.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
Jalen Smith, he was our linebacker, but he's a freshman, but I think he was just unhappy because he wasn't playing. But hell, I mean, when he did play, he only had very limited snaps, but I mean, it's not like he made an impact. And Jordan Matthews, that's really the only big one for Tennessee that entered transfer portal. Kind of sucks because I think he's about the only one that had like true potential. Other than that, it's like
I hate to see him go, but I mean, if you're going to hit it right now and you're not willing to fight out with your team to see this year through and to compete for a spot next year, then deuces, man. Good luck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, go on.
Good luck.
MTSU
needs cornerbacks bad.
Yeah. The only thing I'm concerned of Tennessee is, just speaking of the portal, I don't put much, weight on it right now. It's just going to be after the playoffs, and like Tennessee come next year, they're only going to have. I don't know if they're going to have really any returning starters on the offensive line. This year offensive line is really good.
A lot of work done in the portal.
Yeah, which I know we got David Sanders coming, who eventually I'm sure he'll be.
He ain't going to be ready day one. No,
day one.
Play line.
So I'm sure that's one area Heupel is probably going to have to work a lot of magic in the O-line department because they don't. If Sampson comes back, you don't need to worry about a running back. Wide receivers, you can take a couple more, explosive kids. But the O-line's what's really going to worry a lot of fans that root for the Vols because a lot of question marks.
Yeah,
come next year.
Yeah, Brad, go Vols and D's. I don't doubt that at all. I mean, and that's the kind of guy that Coach Heupel is. But like, hey man, there's no spot for you here. Go ahead, get in early, beat the rush, find you a home, go play some football.
Yeah. Riddle, just so you know, I know you're a tight end guy. There is a guy out of Ball State named Tanner. I'm gonna butcher this. Cazio that Alabama's looking at. He is a senior tight end. He's 6'7", 237.
Yeah, Tennessee. I mean, Georgia. As much as I'm sure Georgia would love to have that guy, they still got. Yeah, I mean, we had the top two in the recruiting signed with us, and then we got Lawson Lucky still. Delp should return. But I'm just glad Nitro decided he took a day, decided to stay because Arian Smith and Dominic Lovett, they're gone. Mm-hmm. That's Georgia's two top receivers. Yeah. There's gonna be a spot open for him. So
and let this be a lesson to these guys. Just because a player goes into the portal, he can come back out. Mm-hmm. He can come back out. So don't start bad mouthing people yet. But I do agree with Jordan. If your team's in the playoff, which everybody above me's team is in the playoff. Yeah. Honestly, transfer news should be the least of y'all's worries because y'all still have a lot to play for. Me, I can talk about it all I want. All right.
When you're in the GoPro Bowl, it's time to start working on next year.
So, and I will tell you this: somebody made a comment up there that says Bama's in the toilet bowl. I just want you to know we were still the first team out of the playoffs. So if that's the toilet bowl, then we're doing all right. I'm going to tell you, we were one Vandy win away from being in the playoffs. Anyway,
Lance said at least we're keeping Bell too. Yeah, he's just a junior.
Yes,
he could leave if he wanted to, but I don't see him declaring and leaving. He'll come back for his senior year for sure.
Tippy said Wegman's going to Houston. That would be a big get for Houston.
He'll fit right in.
Yeah, he'd probably do well down there. He'll probably do well down there. Big 12, they don't play defense. They
want to win 3 games a year. He'll fit right in.
All right, moving on. So this is the big. There's 2 big events this weekend, and we're going to touch on both of them. And the first one, not in chronological order, but just in hype and everything. The first one's going to be the Heisman Trophy ceremony Saturday night. So the finalists include Ashton Jeanty, Travis Hunter, Dylan Gabriel, Cam Ward. So what we want to do is I'm going to start with Tony. And I just want to get your thoughts because it's going to be our last time talking before we actually have a Heisman Trophy ceremony. You guys won't be on Saturday. So I want to know who you think is going to win and why.
Well, it's been locked up. It's already been locked up. In my mind, it has been. I know Jeanty made that push in that championship game against UNLV, but I mean, still, it's got to be Travis Hunter still to this point. And I'm not, he didn't play, so Jeanty, everyone's thinking of the Jeanty game. He carried Boise State again, shocker. But, like I said, we've never seen a player who literally plays every snap. Don't want to hear Charles Woods' name. He didn't do that. Literally plays every snap on both sides of the ball. He makes plays on both sides of the ball. Hell, he's got the stats to prove it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to go against Travis Hunter right now because outside of Jeanty, to me, really now, there's no one even worth mentioning. It's really just a race between Jeanty and Hunter right now. Hell, I don't know how you can give it to Jeanty, and I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to shit on him.
Yeah.
Again, we've said this before. It's not like he played against the toughest teams. I mean, he did what he's supposed to do. Obviously, he's talent wise, he's up here. Everyone else he plays with is not.
Yeah, he's the number one running back in the draft too. So he's gonna get paid.
Yeah, he'll be
he's
number
got the
one.
right size.
Yeah,
his build is perfect.
Yeah,
but I mean, let's face it. Did he face a defense this year?
Oregon.
That's Oregon. Maybe
I hadn't looked at their numbers, but outside of Oregon, did he face a defense that allowed an average of less than 200 yards on the ground a game?
I don't know. I didn't dig that deep.
I'm just going to tell you.
I'm just going to tell you.
Maybe it might have been UNLV at one point, but
at one point, so he probably played him, and then they probably like 200 yards again. So Riddle, to play devil's advocate, I know we all kind of favor Hunter in this. What is a good argument for Jeanty? Because I feel like you're the stats guy. You're the guy that's going to put pen to paper. No running back has done what he's done. Not even Derrick Henry. No one.
No, but there's running backs before him that have done it.
Oh, yeah.
And
I agree with that now.
I think that hurts him, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I would love to play devil's advocate here and make a case for Jeanty, but I don't think there is one. And, Jeanty, what he's done this year, he's been great. You can't take that away from him. He's been amazing for them this year.
Mhm.
But the fact of the matter is like Cam Ward, he's not even the top passer in the nation. Dylan Gabriel's 8th in the nation in passing.
Mhm.
He's there because the team is undefeated. If it was a team award, then yeah, you could consider Gabriel, but it's more of a nod to be like, hey, it's kind of like the Stetson Bennett deal.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to give you an invite. You're not going to win, but you still got the invite.
Yeah.
Cam had a great year, but I said a few weeks ago, he had some moments there where he could have had a Heisman moment
Yeah.
and could have kept Miami undefeated, and he didn't get it done. And something disastrous happened, like in the Georgia Tech game, the fumble.
Yeah.
Genty hasn't done anything wrong. He's done exactly what he was supposed to do. Boise State's where they are because of him. But like that first UNLV game, UNLV sold out to stop him. That was his worst game of the year, and Maddox Madsen did what he had to do to win that football game. It's going to go to Travis Hunter, and the reason is this. No, he's not the best at a certain category, but he is elite as a receiver, and he's elite as a defensive back. And there's nobody in the nation, not one single other person, that can do what he does.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
I mean, he's a final. I sent that to y'all the other day when we were looking this up. He's a finalist for what, like 6 awards, I think.
Yeah. I actually, we're going to talk about a few of them, but yeah.
Right. And I mean, who does that on both sides of the ball, playing 90+% of the snaps?
Yeah.
D said Gamble did it. Yeah. Champ Bailey did it. That guy from Michigan that we don't like to talk about because we have Tennessee fans in here did it.
But no, it's not the same way, like Tony said. It's
Absolutely
not the same way.
It's not the same way. And
I don't think you ever see it.
I just think I don't think there's a question. Like usually you go into this Heisman ceremony and you're like, okay, this guy could win it. This guy could win it. If everything goes right, this guy could win it. And like, I hate to bring it up again, but the 97 Heisman race, you knew that there was all 4 of those guys had a legit shot at winning that Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thought it was going to be Peyton, but what Randy Moss did that year was historic.
Oh yeah,
Leaf had an exceptional year. Then Woodson did what he did, playing both sides of the ball, not like what we've seen this year. And then Manning did what Manning did through his career at Tennessee. He lost to Florida. I think that game is what cost him that Heisman. But
100%.
But
that was always the biggest knock on him in college was he never beat Florida.
Yeah, I think this Heisman Trophy ceremony might be the biggest landslide for a winner that we've ever seen.
Okay, that would be huge.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Go ahead, Jordan. You tell me what you think.
I mean, I like where Jeff's going out there. I mean, honestly, it's Hunter. And, I mean, what he's done on the field has been impressive. But I think, honestly, he's the lead guy for this. He's the lock for this because of what he could do on the field. They're talking about, him as a corner. Teams didn't throw at him because they knew what he could do. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, if you're a good corner at any level, the lack of stats is a huge compliment because that means guys don't want no part of trying you out because they know it's a bad situation to be in. Another thing is how weak this Heisman class is. I mean, you take out Hunter, you got Genty. If Genty doesn't, run and have a shot at breaking Barry Sanders' record, let's just say he runs for 2,000 yards this year. Is he in the conversation?
No.
Probably not. I mean, he ain't play nobody. So then what are you left with? You got, Cam Ward and a Robert Griffin III kind of year? I mean, 3 losses and, hey, this is just the best we got. Which don't get me, that's not a knock on RG3. That dude was electric to watch at Baylor. Had some great memories watching him light the scoreboard up. But it was one of those kind of deals where, it's this guy because he's close to breaking a record. He hadn't broke it, but he's close. Of course, everybody's going, well, he'll get it in the bowl game. Well,
That ain't the same.
You can give it to him the whole game, but right now, after the championship game, which I think is one more game than Barry played his year, they have exactly 344 carries each.
Yeah.
If you that's as equal of a chance to break a man's record as you can have. Anything after this is going to be, well, I mean, yeah, he did it, but it took him, X number more carries to do it. Took him, X number more games to do it. I mean, if he could have broke, if it wasn't for that one UNLV game in the regular season where they keyed in on him, he very well could have broke it Saturday night. But, at this point, when y'all got the exact same attempts in a year, if you didn't get him, you just didn't get him.
Yeah.
Sorry, kid. Somebody else will try again later.
I just want to backpack off something Jordan said about Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Teams didn't throw at him because they knew what he could do. And, his receiving, I feel like it's almost undervalued what he did this year as a receiver. He was 5th in the nation in receptions. He was 6th in the nation in yards, and he was 2nd in the nation in touchdowns this year as a receiver. And that's playing damn near every defensive snap of the game, too. And I was just going to say, because of how good he is, his defensive stats could have been so much better had teams thrown at him.
Oh yeah, it's a sign of a good DB. A good DB
that has to go into account too.
A good DB you don't throw at. Patrick Surtain, Sauce Gardner, you steer clear of those guys. I mean,
Darrell Revis in his prime. They called it Revis Island for a reason, and you didn't want to go there often because you were going to lose.
But hey, one more. D's commented and said Chris Gamble did it to Ohio State, so I looked it up. Chris Gamble had 609 receiving yards in his whole career, so not the same.
Right.
Chris Gamble is
and that's what I said when he made that comment.
Yeah.
Hunter has 1,152 and 14 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
Just
Hell of a player.
Last year. And another thing about, just his motor and his ability to keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Think of how many.
I agree.
Let's be honest. A lot of those weren't on clean routes. That Sanders found him on. That old line at Colorado was bad. Should have ran for his life all year. A lot of their bigger plays is just guys playing backyard football and getting open. And to play every snap and still have the energy to run for an extra 6, 7, 8 seconds just to find a soft spot on the field. I mean,
yeah.
And I still think Shedeur should be in the conversation too, especially over a Dylan Gabriel or a Cam Ward, because Shedeur's numbers compare with Cam Ward's this year. Especially being sacked as much as he was and being on the run as much as he was. The fact that he's not even in the conversation is crazy.
I'd give you Sanders. I'd give you Sanders over Gabriel. Cam Ward, I mean, like you said, he had moments to shine, but the defense let Cam Ward down. Cam Ward would be one of the best finalists if they had some sort of defense and they were undefeated and he was going to play for a title. I mean, his numbers would look outstanding. That's the only reason, like you said, why Gabriel's even in it. Because they're undefeated.
If Cam Ward, he had 2 shots.
Yeah, he did.
Having his Heisman moment.
No, that's what I said.
If he just gets one of those, he probably wins it.
I know. The defense was atrocious for those guys.
Yeah, they were.
If you look though, just Ward Sanders comparison. Sanders completion percentage 74.2%. Cam Ward 67.4%. There's 197 yards separating them in yardage. 1 touchdown separating them, and Shedeur was sacked 38 times this year. So,
oh man, all right,
running for his life.
So I think we all can agree that Hunter. We're all picking Hunter from this.
Absolutely.
So the only thing I'll say is this: I do think that there are some awards that Hunter is in, like offensive awards, that he probably won't win. Like, it's very rare to win every award, like the Campbell and the Heisman. They usually split it up.
because it's become a participation thing. Yeah, and we got to make sure everybody gets recognized.
But when you look at, I agree with what you said. I don't think he's the best receiver. He is one of the best receivers. He could be the best receiver. He may not be the best DB. He might be, like we said, we don't know. But, it's kind of one of those things where his total package, he's got the Heisman wrapped up. He's the total package. So with that said, I'd like to talk about.
Brandon. D's, what year would that be from?
I know 01 to 03. 01 to 03.
Yeah,
that's a while ago.
Yeah,
I know that
got drafted by Panthers.
Chris Gamble was
Don't
a
they do
hell
the
of a
Heisman
player.
votes as like first place?
Well, no,
vote,
I was talking about the
second place vote?
landslide vote on
Yeah.
the Heisman.
Oh,
Don't they do it where you get a
Oh,
first
the
place
Burrow.
vote?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we were talking about like
the Heisman.
like
Bo
back when Paul
Burrow.
Hornung, got it with a
Yeah,
2-8 Notre Dame team.
The Burrow one was pretty obvious. I mean, that like you said.
Yeah, there was
that,
nobody even close.
That
to
was close.
No.
I mean, that was probably one of the greatest offensive performances.
Unless you wanted to give it to one of his receivers he was throwing to because he had two of the best ever.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Smoking Joe.
So just looking at some of the awards. So, I touched on the freshman of the year before. Ryan Williams is a favorite to win freshman of the year over people like Jeremiah Smith and Dylan Stewart at South Carolina. I think any one of those guys are fantastic picks. There wasn't a lot to talk about. I talked to y'all about the Bednar arc, the defensive player of the year. So the candidates seem so weak to me, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. So Abdul Carter, 60 tackles, 10 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. Defensive end for Penn State. 10 sacks. I mean, that just seems so. Caleb Downs, the transfer from Alabama to Ohio State, had 61 tackles, half a sack, and 1 pick. And I say that to say this. At Alabama, as a true freshman, he had 107 tackles. So 60, 40, pretty much 40 more, a forced fumble and 2 interceptions. And Travis Hunter rounds out with 22 tackles and 4 interceptions. That's the defensive stats for him. Like you said, he didn't get, the money is on Carter to win. And the reason I bring this up is it's such a soft defensive class. If that is as good as we've got, a safety with 60 tackles, 1 pick and half a sack. And I like Caleb Downs. I think he's a great player. And a defensive end with 60 tackles and 10 sacks. I just remember, James Pierce last year, William Anderson, when his sophomore year, Will Anderson had 18 sacks his sophomore year or something like that. And we're talking about 10 sacks. Hunter had the 4 picks and then 60 tackles from a safety. We can't find anybody better than that in the country. There's no way that's as good as it gets. Nobody at Georgia's got better stats than that. Nobody.
They announced Jalen Walker won the Butkus today, and he had 58 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 1 pass deflected, and 2 fumble recoveries. That's his stat line.
And his stats to me line up better than Caleb Downs. That's my point. My point. I don't understand this. Like you said, popularity, whatever this is. But Abdul Carter is the favorite to win that over Travis Hunter. That's an example of where, whatever. And then Jason in the chat says Jason Barron from Texas had better stats. Jaden Barron. I have no doubt. And the other one I want to talk about was the Blitnikoff. Riddle, you kind of eloquently put that out there for Travis Hunter. He is the favorite with 92 catches, 1,152 yards, and 14 TDs. I do want to do shout outs to the McMillan kid from Arizona. He had 84 catches for 1,300 yards. Nick Nash for San Jose State, 104 catches for 1,382 yards and 16 TDs. But I wanted to know.
He's first in yards and touchdowns.
I wanted to know why Xavier Restrepo wasn't at least on the list. I can't fathom. And the reason I say that, he finished with 1,127 yards and 11 TDs. But he leads Miami in so many receptions and stats. I just thought he would have at least made the finals, but I guess they have to give it to 3 people. I guess that's the way they do it. So I thought he had a really good season. But
I think it was his touchdowns that hurt him.
that could make sense.
He was 8th in yardage. He only had 69 receptions, so he didn't have the volume that the other guys did, which is not a knock on him. I mean, he still put up the yards. He was 8th in the nation, but he only had 11 touchdowns, and compared to those other guys, McMillan only had 8. But,
it's kind of it was just a question. It's not like I don't think he deserves it. Right. I think Hunter's got it. I think Hunter's got it wrapped up, just total package as we talked about. But and then the other thing I just wanted to throw out there was the coach of the year keeps getting brought up, and I wanted to know who you guys has your opinions changed on coach of the year? Are you still giving it to Cignetti? How do you guys feel about coach of the year?
I mean, it's got to be Cignetti. I mean, that dude come in there to a team that had won 3 games the last 3 years or something like that. Well, ain't been that bad, but they had a bad year last year, and he's got them in the playoffs this year. I mean, who has a resume that can compete with that? Came in what he had, did what work he could in the portal, you know, and has a playoff caliber team out of it.
I mean, the feel good story, though, I'm just going to throw this out there because I think it's Signetti, too. Let me say that first and foremost.
Yeah.
But the SEC Coach of the Year, Clark Lee, and what he was able to do at Vandy.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal in Nashville, what they were able to do this year. So,
yeah, anybody.
I mean, he should be SEC Coach of the Year, but I mean, as far as on the national stage, it's got to be.
It's got to be
just because of everything around it right now. I mean, you're in the playoffs, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Vandy's in a bowl game the first time in 9 years. I mean,
yeah.
So that's big as far as for the conference. I mean, ain't nobody in the SEC outdone him, you know, as far as coaching this year. So
100% congratulations to Walker. I saw that, you know, obviously Malachi's in the Thorpe Award. And I think Barron's probably got that from Texas. I think he's, but I want to say congratulations to Tennessee. Their center is a finalist and the favorite to win the Remington Award. So Cooper Mays, good job there. And then this is kind of what I just wanted to laugh at this with you guys. The Doak Walker Award. So the Doak Walker Award. This is absolutely comical because I don't even know who these two people are on there with Ashton Jeanty. I don't even know. Are Marion Hampton from North Carolina and Caleb Johnson for Iowa.
So Amarian Hampton finished second in the nation in yardage.
Okay.
He had 1,660 and 15 touchdowns, averaged 5.9 yards per carry. So nothing to look down on.
No, I'm scoffing all day at it. No.
Scoffing all day.
Here's a lesson if any of these young kids are highly recruits keeping up with any of these awards. If you want to win an award, go play for a poverty-stricken school and run your stats up. It's about like the community. They only care about the wins and losses. Well, you just need to go to a school where the talent level isn't there for other opponents and just go run wild on them.
How is Sampson not on this list? I don't care if you have to write him in. I don't care.
Where's the other kid from?
He's from Iowa. Caleb Johnson's from Iowa. He's sixth in the nation in yardage, 6.4 yards per carry, 21 touchdowns. Sampson's eighth in the nation in yards.
Shouldn't matter.
8 yards per carry and 22 touchdowns. I agree. I agree. But yeah, nobody was going to win it over Jeanty because I mean,
100%.
Not. But you got
100%.
Yeah, you can't.
Jeanty still got 800 more yards than that Amarian Hampton. I mean,
that's huge. That's significant. Yeah. I just can't. I just couldn't believe. I knew there would be some good conversation on that because I could not believe that Sampson wasn't on there to do what he did in the SEC and to pretty much show up week in and week out. It's huge. Obviously, we're probably biased towards the SEC.
I mean, Bryson Daly's rushing stats are right there with Sampson's.
I don't think I'm being biased because I feel like if Sampson, I feel like if Dylan Sampson was playing in the Big Ten or out in the Mountain
West,
he's probably doing he's up there with Jeanty. I don't give a shit.
That's a good comment. Scatabo's not in there either.
I don't think he missed a lot of games
Michael.
This year. Did he not?
He still ended up with like 1,600 yards. I think. I mean,
is that 1,568. He's fifth in the nation in yardage.
So
Scatabo.
He could have been on there too.
The fumbles is what.
Yeah. Okay. And if they look at that, I didn't know if they looked at that or not.
I'm sure they do.
I will tell you this: it seemed like every time he fumbled, you could go back to a point in those games that he fumbled in, and he would make up for it. I mean, the dude would absolutely make up for it.
When these awards, the people that pick these awards, they probably don't care who you played. They don't look at your level of competition. They look strictly at the numbers. And
half of them they hadn't seen play.
That's unfortunate.
And Sampson, outside of the top 10, Sampson's yards per carry was only better than Bryson Daly by 0.2.
Yeah.
And Mekhi Hughes from Tulane by 0.5.
But Daly can't win it though, right? Daly can't win that though because he's a quarterback. Yeah,
he's a quarterback.
But I will say this: you said they haven't seen him play. When the hell did they see Amarian Hampton play on the QVC network? I mean, when is North Carolina football on TV? I mean, goddamn, it's like Hawaii. I mean,
anyone watches it.
11 a.m. on ESPN too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, moving on. Now we're going to get to this.
They shorted him one. He had 6 fumbles.
Yeah.
Dude, no one will ever convince me that fumble against Florida, they pinned it on Nico. That was all Samson at the fucking mesh play.
Yeah. So the Heisman was obviously one of the key elements for this weekend. The second thing that we want to talk about is the Army-Navy game. So they've
America's game.
America's game. So they're going to have the stage, middle of the day, I guess. But I wanted to get y'all's take on it. We don't have to be too in depth. I think we all kind of feel the same way about it. But Tony, we'll start with you. Just how are you feeling about the Army-Navy game?
Well, not excited, I guess, as how we probably felt about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess it's just a cool little old rivalry. That's pretty much all it is, and I really don't expect too much from this game. Really, I think Army's. It's just going. Who can run the option better? Now it's probably going to be Army, if I had to guess, because Navy's defense is about non-existent. Especially if you watch them in that.
Ever since that Notre Dame game.
Notre Dame
what could have been, guys? What could have been?
Yeah, what could have been?
They got plummeted into submission.
And Jason,
undefeated or one-loss teams. But.
Jason in the chat hit the nail on the head. These uniforms are what we're going to be talking about.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
They always pull out some fire for this game.
This is huge for the academies. This is huge for service members. They really love this game. Kias, obviously, he was in the Army. He's a big time Army guy. Riddle, who do you got? I'm sure.
It's just like Jordan said. Navy's lost 3 of their last 5, and they've never recovered since that Notre Dame game. The scores for Army and Navy both against Notre Dame were almost identical. It was 51-14 for Navy, 49-14 loss for Army. The spread for this game opened at 2.5. It's now up 6.5 for Army. That's a huge move. The difference in this game, though, and Tony touched on it, Army's first in the nation in rushing yards per game, which obviously they're an option team. But they're 11th in the nation against the run, 104 yards per game. And they're 7th in the nation in points per game allowed with 15. Their defense is just better. This is a beautiful tradition. This is a beautiful game. It's a great stage to recognize and honor the troops. I love everything about this game, even if usually these two teams aren't that good. This is an important game for them. This is their most important game. This is their championship game. But yeah, I've got Army winning this one.
And this may not mean anything to anyone that's listening right now, but this is the last true college football game that still exists. So it's unhinged by transfer portals, by NIL. This is pure 2 teams proud of where they go because they're in the academy, and they go out and just play smash mouth football for their team. One team will win, one team will lose. It's passionate. It's pageantry. It's everything we used to love about college football with all that other mess that makes up some noise. We still love our college football, but it makes some noise. It's not in this game. So, Jordan, how you feel? Same, pretty much, yeah.
Well, first, Kiss, thank you for your service. Man, I don't think I've missed this game a single time since about 92. Some of my earliest memories of college football. And you're right. It takes me back to a simpler time in college football. Back when you played more for the name on your chest than you did for the name on your back. That being said, since 92, I'll say it again. I've always go Army, beat Navy. And that won't falter this year. There's 3 things that you can always count on in December: Christmas, cold weather, and betting the under in the Army-Navy game. But I would do that with caution this year. I feel like this could be one of the more exciting Army-Navy games we've seen in probably 15 years.
Which is going to be fun.
That over-under is 39.5.
And that's high for a Service Academy game.
That is, yeah. That's high. And don't give any picks yet, because we're still going to have some UConn Cornelius. We might have a few UConn Cornelius sneak peeks. We'll see. All right. Well, that's it. I appreciate that portion of it. We're going to move on to not really marquee matchups, but our Phase 1 bowl picks. So this is not for points. This is not for standings. Riddle won. This is for shits and giggles because nobody really gives a shit about these games. But it is football. It is football to watch.
We should do the spreads instead of picks.
Okay, let's do the spreads.
Jordan's got it. Okay. We're gonna do the spreads.
No, Jordan. What's Jordan's? I got the spreads.
I was talking about for next year. We're talking about
okay.
the way we pick the games and stuff.
But this is just for shits and giggles, Tony. I don't even expect Riddle to write down who's going to win because
I'm not.
Because it's just this. But
I'm writing it down.
So
there's so much transfer portal, man. The bowl games aren't what I used to love. I used to absolutely love betting bowl season, and now it's just
when me and Riddle when we went over this on Sunday, the problem is all your good teams are in the playoff. So that's where all your and then when you look at the bowl matchups, we talked about this on Sunday. If I said, hey, what would be a great matchup? Would you not think to take the top 2 teams that missed the playoff, the first 2 teams out, and say, hey, let's pit them together and let's just see what might have been? Instead, Miami's going to the Pop-Tart Bowl against who are they playing again? The Pop-Tart Bowl, I don't remember. It was some ass team.
Who, Miami?
Yeah.
Playing Ned in the first reader, I mean.
They are playing
Iowa State. They're playing Iowa State in the Pop-Tart Bowl. So instead of putting Alabama and Miami, 2 blue blood programs to play each other, we didn't make the playoffs, but we're the first 2 teams out against each other. They said, no, we're going to let them play Iowa State, and we're going to go play Michigan. I don't care to play Michigan. That's fine. It doesn't matter. It'd be revenge for last year. But I just thought they could have done a better job with the selections of the bowls. I don't know the thought process. I know there's allegiances and alliances there, but obviously there's room for some change now that we have a 12-team playoff because all your good teams, your SEC champs, all those teams, there are no Sugar Bowls anymore because that's all playoff games. So anyway, we're going to get into it. December 14th, me and Riddle.
Wait, so is Belichick officially at UNC now?
Yeah, that was announced earlier today.
Yeah, it was announced.
I'm just now pulling ESPN up, seeing that pop up.
Belichick returns to coaching, this time at UNC. Top headline. Uh-oh. What the hell? Hold on, guys. I'm trying to... What? Trying to...
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm trying to read here. It says
he don't want to bet the Mutts, D's, and he's coming around.
Dan Mullen going, I think, to UNLV.
Rich Rodriguez is finalizing a deal to go back to West Virginia after that tumultuous departure. Back in the day when he left for Michigan.
Dude, so we at Alabama have a saying, just like the fans at Tennessee stood up and fought against the Schiano hire. We always thank Rita Rodriguez for not wanting to come to Alabama because she was very adamant about not wanting to come to Alabama when Rich Rod left the West Virginia to go play for our coach at Michigan. He picked Michigan over Alabama, and we're very thankful for that. All right. So December 14th, we talked about this on Sunday, me and Riddle. Normally there's no football on the Army-Navy game day. It's usually its own game. There's 2 bowl games, one before, one after. Jackson State at South Carolina State in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Jackson State is a 1.5 favorite. Tony, for shits and giggles, who you got?
Yeah,
it is what it is, man. It's for fun.
It's hard. I don't know, because just unknown. So, I'm gonna take Jackson State.
There it is. Riddle, what you got?
They burnt me last week. They got me good last week.
So Jackson State's on a 9-game winning streak. They're 11-2 and the SWAC champions. South Carolina State's on an 8-game winning streak. they're 9-2 and the MEAC champions.
Mm.
Just looking at it and diving into it like I did, South Carolina State airs it out, and I'm going to go with the team that airs it out. And I'm going to go with South Carolina State in this one.
Okay, all right, Jordan.
What was that number on that 1.5? Who?
Yeah,
It's
point
at
and a half,
one
Jackson.
now.
It's one
It's just
Jackson
one.
State. Yeah, when I looked at it.
Jackson minus one. Yeah, give me the South Carolina State Bulldogs +1 right there.
All right, I'm gonna go with Tony. I'm gonna go Jackson State just because I don't have a fucking clue about these two teams, and I didn't want to look it up. Okay, next game, the one after the Army Navy game, South Alabama at Western Michigan in the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. The number is South Alabama -9.
That's come down. It's
Yeah,
7.5.
what are you looking at?
I just ESPN when I
It's
wrote
probably
this
from
out.
when he looked.
Yeah,
it
when
up
I wrote
if
it
you
out.
know.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the simple.
So we're already
breakdown.
picking at your number. That's fine too.
No, just pick at the number. It doesn't matter. Just if you got an updated number, pick at it. Tony, you're up.
Yeah,
Go ahead, TP.
it's another one of those. I'm not Western Michigan. They treated me good a few times this year. South Alabama, don't know shit about them. I'm just gonna roll with Western Michigan. Give me Western.
Western Michigan. Okay. Riddle, what you got?
So South Alabama has one of the best names in this bowl season, and he's a running back, and his name is Fluff Bothwell. He's got 111 carries, 832 yards on the year. I mean, if the man's name is Fluff, how can you go against him? So I'm going with Fluff in the South Alabama.
Damn. South Alabama is missing their running back. He is in the portal. Okay. That's good news.
Is it
B.
Fluff? Is it Fluff?
I don't think it's Fluff.
He said if it's Fluff, I changed my mind.
I think we would have been aware if Fluff was in the portal.
See, Fluff and their leading back.
He said
It
yes.
is Fluff.
It's
So their lead back
Yeah,
is
Fluff's in the
actually
portal.
okay. So if Fluff's in the portal, they still have their lead back. Because when I looked it up, Fluff was actually second in their team in rushing. So
God
I
bless
just like
her.
the name.
All right.
But
so-
yeah, I'm still going to go with South Alabama.
Okay. Jordan, who you got, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna take. I stay on FanDuel. Western Michigan +7.5. It's a little high at 118, but I mean, if you compare it to the 7 at 115 at MGM, I'll gladly pay 3 cents for a half point off that key 7. So give me the Broncos +7.5.
All right. I'm going with the team that's got Alabama in their name. I'm going to be a fucking homer. South Alabama. That's what I'm going to do.
Like Mark, South Alabama.
Yeah.
Boy.
Hey, listen, I ain't rooting for fucking Auburn, okay? I said got to have Alabama in their name. But with that said,
Well, Mark don't either. You remember Old Tide Mark?
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Him and Willie's got to be first cousins.
Oh my god! All right, so we'll have a little bit of a break on Sunday and Monday for the NFL, and then Tuesday, December 17th. I think this could be a good game. 25 Memphis at West Virginia. It's and this is Jordan's bowl game. It's the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Memphis 2.5 when I took it. I don't know what it is now.
4.5 now.
2.5, 3, depending on where you say that.
All right, Tony.
Where is this bowl game at?
Frisco, Texas.
Frisco, Texas. Yeah.
Well, hell, give me Memphis then.
Yeah.
Give me the Tigers.
All right, Riddle.
Go Tigers. Yeah, I got Memphis. That line on ESPN's up to 4.5. Memphis looked really good against Tulane, and Tulane was actually playing for a shot at the playoff. I've got Memphis in this one.
Jordan.
Hold on, sorry, I'm pulling it up here. Yeah, I mean, West Virginia's got too much going on. I see Memphis here at 2.5, 117 at Valley or Bet Rivers. I mean, you could even lay a 3 at a flat 110 if you're averse to laying the 117, but I mean, the Memphis is the right side. That game opened up West Virginia -1.5. It's flipped to -3. I mean, that's a massive move.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if you would have got it. Well, anyway. Yeah,
That don't mean shit. You still lose it.
Oh yeah, you usually lose it.
It just means the math on your side.
I'm still going with Memphis. I think they're just too much for West Virginia. West Virginia is a mid Big 12 team. And I've already told you what I think about the Big 12. Anyway, moving on to Wednesday, December 18th, another game that I think could be good. Not a number beside them, but Western Kentucky at James Madison and the Boca Raton Bowl. I think this could be a good
game. Game could be good.
What I'm saying is
James Madison, man. James Madison's program is fantastic.
I get that.
I'm not saying like I'm just saying like
Western Kentucky. I just want. Do they still have Jack State's dick in their mouth from last week? Do they?
Hey, I picked them with you. I picked them with you, so I don't care.
Fuck them. With that being said, fuck them.
All right.
I'm taking them bastards. Give me James Madison.
Well, James Madison, when I took this, was a 7-point favorite, so it's probably wise. It's Riddle, who you got?
It's 8.5 or 8.5, 7.5. It's all over the place.
Alonzo Barrett III. Remember that name? He's James Madison's quarterback. He's had a really good year. 2,598 yards, 26 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, 442 yards rushing, and 7 touchdowns rushing. I've got James Madison in this one.
Jordan, give us the math.
I mean, dude, I don't know.
I like it at 7 a lot better than I do 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, there's some 7.5s out there, but I mean, this game opened at 3.
God dang, what a move!
You know, it's. I mean, it's now up to 8.5 at Caesars, DraftKings, and MGM. Honestly, if I'm on the spread, I'm probably taking the 8.5 on Western Kentucky. I mean, James Madison's good. I just don't know that they're 8.5 better. Of course, that depends a lot on the portal, and there's a lot of shit can happen between now and the 18th. I mean, that's 9 days off. I mean,
100%. Well, I'm like Tony. I can't get over West Kentucky getting just bitch slapped last week, so I'm going to go James Madison in the points.
Yeah, but y'all are forgetting they just played them 7 days earlier.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's almost unrecoverable for me, though.
And West Kentucky won the first round. That's what's crazy. That's what I mean.
These just gave us our portal update. The defensive end for Western Kentucky's in the portal. So
correct, up here in Bowling Green. Oh man! All right, and the other game of that night, this one, Tony, you knock on this one too. But Cal at number 24, UNLV in the Art of Sport LA Bowl. And here's the kicker: when it opened, or whenever I took it, it was Cal at -4.
Yeah, I wouldn't took them many. I would have took UNLV off the rip. I don't give a shit.
Still Cal -2.
Cal spotty as hell. UNLV, outside of losing to Boise twice, hell, they can run the fucking ball. I mean, it's not like they have an issue moving the ball. Cal, I don't think they have much of a fucking run game. I'm just going to buy off that.
All right.
So, I'm taking UNLV.
They beat Auburn.
That one.
Yeah. All right.
And lost at Florida State.
Yeah.
Oh, that's enough. That's enough to know you ain't taking them. That's enough to know you ain't taking it.
So that's trash.
So here's my thing, and we talked about this a while back. Me and Jordan did. California's got more one possession losses than damn near anybody. They were literally 5 plays away from being 11-1. So, the line's still -2. California's quarterback is 19th in the nation in yardage. Give me a portal update, D's, because I want to know if he's still there. But yeah, if Fernando Mendoza is still at California, I'm actually going to take Cal in this game.
Yeah, he's still there.
All right.
I ain't heard nobody moving.
Jordan, what you got?
I mean, in this one, honestly, California has a really good defense. Justin Wilcox used to be in Knoxville. I'm not sure how he's held this head coach job this long because they've been just mediocre Melvins ever since he's been there. But at Cal, I guess 6-6 is good enough.
He's a hell of a coach.
That being said, I mean, just what I'm seeing around, Caesars has this at 3. I would take the 3 on UNLV.
Yeah, I'm taking UNLV as well.
Tell Sydney to keep it down back there.
Oh my God. All right. Thursday, December 19th, Georgia Southern at Sam Houston in the RL Carriers New Orleans Bowl. I know Tony's been looking forward to this one. Tony, Georgia Southern, 7-point favorites. Who you got?
I don't have any change in my pocket. I'd call heads or tails for this shit.
Oh man.
That would probably be the most accurate way to do this. Good God. I'm going to give me Sam Houston.
There you go. All
Give me
right.
Sam Houston over
Sam
Georgia
plus the
Southern.
6.
Riddle's got his pencil ready and a not so fast. Go Riddle.
It's going to be a not so fast, but here's why, and it has nothing to do with stats.
It has to do with
In the
somebody's
Biscuit
name.
League,
Oh,
I picked against Georgia Southern 5 times, and all 5 times they fucked me. So I'm taking Georgia Southern to cover that spread.
He's learned his lesson.
All
right,
give me
well.
Georgia Southern.
hey, don't feel bad when they fuck you one more time.
Yeah, they probably will.
He
Go
can't
ahead.
learn his lesson.
Go ahead,
Can't
Jordan.
We were talking about Indiana and a feel-good story in Vanderbilt. Sam Houston's been a feel-good story. They won one
Absolutely.
game last year, and they have turned it around to being bowl eligible this year. So good for them. I mean, they play in the absolute smallest stadium in Division I football.
Mhm.
I think it holds like 600 people. El Nunley Stadium out here is bigger.
Oh man.
That being said, I got to roll with Georgia Southern laying the 6 right here. Sam Houston is one of those teams. I've watched them a couple times this year. I've been on the right side a couple times, the wrong side a couple times. They're just, you never know what you're going to get out of them. And their offense is real reliant on, I mean, their defense was good last year. It's good again this year. But their offense is really relying on the defense, getting takeaways and keeping them in favorable field position, at least from what I've seen this year of them. So I'm going to take Georgia Southern laying the 6.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking Georgia Southern too. Like I said, I don't have a dog
I mean,
in
I
this
have no
fight.
reason other than it opened 4.5. It's up to 6. I'm seeing looks like some 6.5s out there. You saw you said it was 7 earlier, so it might have topped at 7, and there might have been some buyback on that just because it was on the 7. But I don't see. I'll have to go with Georgia. Trust the math and go with Georgia State on that one.
All right. So this one is on Friday, December 20th. Again, this is before the playoff games. But Tony, if you want to ask Sydney what she thinks, Ohio at Jacksonville State in the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. Ohio's a 1.5 favorite.
Well, Sydney, who you took? No, but
Get him some info.
I think both teams. Well, they put up a lot of yards. Both teams do. I think I'm gonna go with the big green. The big green. Give me Ohio because
Bobcat man.
because. Give me the Bobcats.
All right. Okay. Riddle. That
Yeah,
shit
so you
eating
got
grin.
your 2024 MAC champion versus your 2024 Conference USA champion. And I'm going to take Jacksonville State, and the reason is Trey Stewart, unless he's in the transfer portal again. We got to watch for these things. Trey Stewart had 264 carries, 1,604 yards, 23 touchdowns, averaging 6.1 yards per carry. So,
D said, is Rich Rod going to be coaching it? He's not.
no,
Oh,
he's
shit.
he's finalizing a deal to be West Virginia's coach again right now.
Jordan, who you got?
Give me just a second here.
I'll just tell you, I'm going Jacksonville State just for shits and giggles. I feel like, I don't know. I feel good about them.
I mean, both these teams have just come off absolutely putting belt to ass in their championship. That being said, on the spread, I'm going to take Jacksonville State right here, plus the 3. This will sound familiar to Jeff, but it might be time to break out one of those running dogs. Give me Jacksonville State plus the 3 to get it done.
Trey Stewart. That's the reason. Trey Stewart, the running back.
All right. And then Tony, this game may not mean shit to you either, but it could be. She
It
gonna
would
make
have
it.
been.
Is Sydney gonna make
It
a
could
pick?
have been.
Is Sydney gonna
She
make a
turned
pick?
around. I
She's
waved
back
her
here.
back.
She's playing.
I waved her on.
Waved her back around.
Anyway, so
Turn back around.
Tulane at Florida, which I know it's around that the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. Florida was a 12-point favorite when I took this.
This probably went up.
This went to
It's
14.
it's still sitting 12.5, 13.
I don't-
Was it?
I
Yeah,
don't.
ESPN's got it 14.
Even
was-
with the transfer?
Oh, I don't even see this.
Transfer to Florida?
It's up to 12.5 now.
I don't see how this is even close. But all right, Tony, you're up.
No, it's hard for me to see this being close, especially Tulane's quarterback's gone. Unless Florida just comes in flat, thinking they're going to have an easy time, but surely Napier is not going to have them come in and after the last
Days
month,
it was
looking
Mendoza.
great, just looking great. I think Florida's probably going to smack him in the mouth. They better be showing them what SEC football is. They come out and lay a turd, then Napier's needs to be back on the hot seat.
I think
Peach.
Florida.
So,
I think
come on,
Florida
man.
is on the right side right now.
There you go, Jeff.
They are. Oh my God. God damn it! All right, y'all just tearing Jeff's up. Jeff's picks are getting torn to shreds. All right.
He won't miss a fucking game.
Tulane at Florida, Jeff. Who you got?
Here's the deal.
14s.
Florida overachieved this year, got better every week. Lost in overtime to Tennessee, took Georgia down to the end before depth and everything took over.
Mhm.
Tulane lost to Kansas State. Tulane lost to Oklahoma. Tulane lost to Memphis, and Tulane got dominated by Army. And now they don't have their quarterback. I'm taking Florida and the points, and I think this is a blowout. This is not going to be a fun game to watch. Florida is going to steamroll them in this game.
Okay. Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, the long and short of it, like Jeff said, Florida overachieved this year. I mean, with that schedule, they did better than anybody. And I'm saying anybody, probably even in the program, thought they were going to have this year. That team has rallied around Sunbelt Billy down the stretch. Lagway should be healthy. I'm laying 12.5 on Florida in a game. They probably win by 30 plus.
Yeah.
I mean, Tulane, that quarterback play was the biggest part of what Tulane was this year. It made them. It made the run game better. It changed everything. We've already seen UNLV have a quarterback transfer and the backup be just as good. I don't think many teams have that luxury, and I don't believe Tulane, if teams do, is one of them.
Okay.
So, yeah, give me the Gators. That's what hurts me to say. Give me the Gators. They win big.
Yeah, it's bowl season. I can root for the Gators and everybody. It's SEC football time, so
it won't hurt my feelings if they lose. Fuck 'em.
well, I mean, yeah.
Absolutely.
if
For
Auburn,
the sake of putting on the number here, I'm laying the 12.5.
if Jordan Hare fell down a sinkhole and nobody was hurt, I mean, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. But I mean, hell, it just shit happens, shit don't happen. Anyway, I'm taking Florida, and so Jordan, do you have any solid gold picks? Any of those numbers that you would absolutely just
That I would just have to have action on.
if you were going to pick this week?
At the current numbers, no. I mean, I would dabble on that Memphis at 2.5.
Anything?
But
on
outside
Army,
of that,
Navy?
no. I mean, this is kind of well, what was the number on Army Navy? I didn't even look at that one.
When I caught it, it was 6.5, which I thought that was. That's when I
want week 15. I want week 16. I mean, it's sitting at 6.5. I mean,
that seems low.
knowing that it opened at a pick. I mean, 6.5 when your total is 39.5. I mean,
yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot. Could Army cover it? Absolutely. I think they will. Absolutely. But I probably wouldn't back it with cold hard cash. No.
All right. So, big news. We had Belichick become UNC's coach. And like I told you, South Carolina's program is going to be in shambles because Mike Shula is the offensive coordinator now. So, it's going to be absolutely
ball, baby.
He's going to be absolutely night and day difference from next year. Question of the night from D's. How does FSU only have 3 guys in the portal?
Well, that's because all of their commitments decommitted, and the shit that's there wants to stay because shit floats, and
They got nowhere else to be.
yeah, there ain't nobody else.
And because right now the story in Tallahassee is it was coaching. It was the offensive coordinators. It was it was coordinator problems. I mean, they're trying to polish a damn turd, but it's still going to be a shit sandwich.
It was definitely not Norvell with 10 L's and bringing in Jeff Malzahn.
But how do you? So did they replace both coordinators this season?
Well, Malzahn's been announced as the new offensive.
Malzahn for sure. I think they were looking for a DC as well.
No, I meant moving forward. I know, but I'm saying wasn't that the same coordinators from the year before when they were claiming they should be in the title game?
Yeah, you got to think about all the talent that they lost off
exactly
team from the year before.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I understand they lost a bunch of talent. Michigan lost more talent than anybody. They had 18 super seniors last year.
And look what they did. They went 7-5.
But what I'm saying is they didn't go around blaming it on the coordinators. I mean, I know they fired the offensive coordinator. Yeah. Anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, so they have 2 4-stars and 1 3-star in the portal. Yeah. God bless.
Ask your Tommy who's Sydney's lock of the bowl season.
Hey, who's your lock of the bowl season? She has no idea what I'm talking about.
She's going to say ramen noodles.
Ask her if the Dodgers going to win the World Series next year.
Oof. Probably the
Yankees.
Yankees.
That shit.
The Yankees are free to win Game 7.
Ask her if the Dodgers are the greatest baseball program of all time.
What's that?
Are the Dodgers the greatest baseball program of all time? Ask her.
Yeah, ask her the Dodgers are great. Ask her the Dodgers going to win the World Series next year.
I'll answer for no.
What's her thoughts on Bronny James?
He's out there missing shots.
Oh man,
missing shots.
Bronny James. Well, that's all I had for tonight, guys. We're open now. Anybody can talk about anything.
I just want to put this out there. Randy Moss is obviously going through some kind of health issue. It's being disputed right now in the news. His son Thaddeus kind of attacked Larry Fitzgerald for putting
his tire back.
Yeah, for making private matters public, and I don't blame him for that. It's being reported that he's battling a form of cancer, but he did step away from ESPN because of an illness that he's battling. So just keep him in your thoughts, because he's definitely a legend.
Oh yeah, that dude's he's like Jameis Winston. He's a walking soundbite, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really hope he can get through whatever he's got going on and get back to the ESPN set.
I don't think Larry Fitzgerald meant anything bad by that. I don't think I don't know. Anyway. That's crazy though. His eyes have been yellow all year. Yeah, I mean
he was wearing sunglasses there the last couple times he was on.
Sheer sign of liver cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, he's and that's what it's been reported as. But Thaddeus did not.
Well, that's what Thaddeus. He didn't say that it wouldn't, but he said it wasn't liver. He just
right. He refuted all the claims that Fitzgerald made, and then blew his hair back for making all that public.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the media right now.
There's something happening behind the scenes there
it's clear that Randy's dealing with something.
Yeah.
That's not good.
We're not doctors, but yellow eyes, there's usually only one body part that has to do with. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, probably more about him making it public than it was about being that factual. I don't know.
And I mean, like I say, it ain't got to be liver cancer. It could be cirrhosis.
It could be jaundice.
There's a number of liver issues.
There's
that cause it. But
all kinds of shit.
Just hoping for a full recovery from him.
100%.
Yeah,
he's a star on that panel,
and he's still young. He's still young, man. He's still a young man. He ain't that old. So, oh man, I hate that. Man, we're losing all the good ones. We ain't lost him yet. I'm just saying, like, we're all getting older is what I meant. Anyway, so now we are here. We'll talk about anything. Anything else going on? How'd the mic sound?
Sounds
mic
good. And
That's fine.
Okay.
I did realize after I watched your video that's a toner you got. I have a toner, but it's not the same one.
Okay. Yeah. They sent me this one, and it looks a lot like Tony's HyperX, but it's just
What is it?
way
The
cheaper.
mic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the one they sent me for free, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try it tonight. Yeah, it's got the it's got the little RGB that changes colors and all that.
Garrett Nussmeier has come out and said he is coming back to LSU next season.
That's huge for LSU. That's huge for LSU. LSU, if they can figure out some defense, man, they're, they weren't. Yeah, at one point we thought they were really good. That changed. I want to say this. I want to say this because this comment was brought up, and I thought it was a good one. So the play that Ryan Williams caught, where he caught the touchdown in the Oklahoma game, was called back for illegal touching that no one could figure out where the illegal touching was, and that took away one of Alabama's touchdowns, or would have been the only touchdown. So the refs fucked up, and they said, well, could that have cost Alabama if they would have scored in Oklahoma? Just not won, but scored. Would that have changed the outcome? I don't think so. But it did lead me to say that I want the refs to be absolutely reprimanded because the refs absolutely cost South Carolina a shot at the playoffs and the fourth SEC team that should have been in with that LSU call this year. The SEC refs cost South Carolina a playoff spot. They would have 2 losses.
This was about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Boston College transfer quarterback Thomas Castellanos has committed to Florida State after losing his job in November.
He's a baller, though. He's a baller. I mean, he
forges a reunion with Malzahn there, and they're calling it a big win for the Seminoles in the early transfer portal.
Well, if he knows the offense,
it's something because.
I watched it. I watched him play when they played against Florida State, and then when BC played Missouri, and I thought he actually played halfway decent. I thought he could throw the ball better than DJ Ugalele or whatever the hell. He could throw way better than him.
DJ, who's your mama?
Yeah. But I talk about a guy that's fallen from grace. That guy has completely.
What Dee said, Wegman did go to Houston.
That is huge.
That was Kippy.
Oh,
was it? Oh, yeah, that was Kippy.
That was Kippy.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. I mean, good for
he lost his
Houston.
job. He had to go somewhere.
Yeah, good for Houston.
He wasn't going to play at A&M no more.
Yeah, his time there was over with.
And that's the thing is like you only got one quarterback spot. The SEC and playing at that level is not for everybody. I think we can all attest to that. There's only one spot. Look at all the 5-star talents that have came through Alabama, Georgia, at quarterback alone, and people like Stetson Bennett beat them out. I mean, some people got it, some people don't. Wegman did not have it in the SEC. He did not have it.
Let's be honest, though. Stetson probably rolled up to practice before those competitions like a damn cooler full of beer, and he was a professional alcoholic, so he got them kids shit faced. Just walked right by him.
Some bitch was awesome.
Brandon, did you go over the Big Ten schedules? They released their schedules today.
I did not go over the Big Ten schedules. The SEC.
Before we get into that, hey, cheers to Kirby Smart for just kicking Greg Sankey right in the damn tank. I mean, that dude looked like somebody had shit in his airspace and just hog-tied him, made him smell it, disappeared on its own.
Well,
yeah.
He turned around and screwed him again, though, on the schedule. So started off against tough teams. So I don't know who won that one.
Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning.
You'll never beat the fucking commish. That's just they always get the last word.
Because I do think that's a tough. You do get the bye week before Bama, but to play 2 games at Tennessee and then Bama back to back, that's about as tough a 2-game stretch as you're going to find in college football.
Big opener in the Big Ten for Ohio State next year.
Texas.
Yeah. August 30th. But it's at Ohio State, of course.
I hope
Well, at least
Texas.
they'll have good weather. It won't
You
be
know
that
what?
Texas heat.
I hope Texas goes there. I hope Texas goes there and they don't plant a flag. I hope they just go take a big shit on the middle of the field because there ain't no felony for that. Take a big shit right in the middle of that field.
But the rest of Ohio State's schedule is Grambling State, Ohio, at Washington, Minnesota, at Illinois, at Wisconsin, home against Penn State, at Purdue, home against UCLA, home against Rutgers, at Michigan.
So, in all honesty, they play Penn State and Texas that are ranked. Michigan may turn around and make it back in the rank, but they play two ranked teams essentially, and some watered down Big Ten team that may be ranked, and it's Sisters of the Poor. But that's an absolute.
And that's still a tougher schedule than Oregon.
Kudos.
Oregon.
Hold on. Kudos to them for playing Texas. I mean, I like those games. I don't understand. Like, that's what people don't understand. Like, Tony, even you're like, hey, there's no benefit to playing those games. I agree with you. They kind of pick. It does seem like wins, losses are what's the most important thing. But as fans, we win when we play those games. We win because we get to watch them. We get to experience them. I hope they don't go away, but because watching Ohio State play whoever, Youngstown State, like they did for years under Jim Tressel, that sucks. That just sucks. Seeing Ohio State, like, at least we have something to look forward to as SC fan. Ohio State plays Texas.
Yeah. They replaced Youngstown State with Grambling State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and I like the reason Tressel played Youngstown State every year because he came from there. I actually liked that. I thought it was.
Is Tressel still at Youngstown State because he went back?
I don't know, but I like that. I wasn't. He said, RJ says, I understand Texas is now in the SEC, but they are not SEC legit. I'm going to say they're SEC legit because they made it through a season. They didn't beat Georgia, so we're very happy about that. But they're here now. I went over. So I know. I don't know if you heard me when I went over this earlier, but I found an article on overall revenue for the 2024 season, and Texas makes $20 million more of profit in just football program alone. This does not include NIL. This does not include any booster money, anything. $20 million more than the next closest team, and the next closest team is Alabama. $20 million more. I mean, there's a greater discrepancy between Alabama and like the 10th place team, or less of a discrepancy than there is between Alabama and Texas. Like, everybody's right around the same amount outside of Texas. Texas A&M is third, but Texas that's just such a big program, man. That's such a big, I don't know.
Tony, your boys up there, the Fighting Illini, they got a pretty good schedule.
Oh man,
yeah? What's
Tony's
that look like?
boys. Tony's boys.
They are front for Illinois.
I can't wait to
Illinois
go over this.
schedule is Western Illinois,
Oh yeah, it's good.
The Roughnecks.
That's tough.
at Duke
Oh man, yeah, they're gonna fight Mensa. Oh man, it's gonna be
There's-
awesome.
versus Western Michigan,
Oh man, it's another good one, Tony.
at Indiana,
Oh man,
Home
look, it's
against-
Kippy
Hopefully
scene.
that's a beatdown.
home against USC, at Purdue, home against Ohio State, at Washington, home against Rutgers, home against Maryland, at Wisconsin, in the year against Northwestern.
There's a good chance they lose fucking like 6 games. I'm here for it.
What are you talking about, Tony? They listened to your advice. They watered down the schedule. They're making a playoff push.
I'm banking on them
And I better
being
see you with a
worse.
damn Illinois jersey on if they make it.
It's never
If I have to buy
happened.
the damn thing, you're going to wear it.
No.
Hey man, you're our resident Illinois expert. We need you.
Mm-mm. I'm leaving that place. I'm never going back.
Oh my
Fuck
god.
them.
I'm right,
Guys.
Shifty. We're going to be belt to ass in Columbus.
Oh
How
man,
many times have those two teams played each other?
not
The
enough.
last time we played, they
I
had
know it was
Eddie
Eddie
George,
George.
and
Yeah,
we thumped his ass. Heisman winner Eddie George.
Well,
Got
look that up.
slapped all over a rainy Citrus Bowl.
it's going to be interesting for sure. And so someone brought up Notre Dame and earlier, and like I still to this day, I want people to understand, when's the last time Notre Dame won a bowl game? If they play anybody with
that's
the
been a long
polls,
time.
I think it's 94 still, like a major bowl
Mhm.
game. I think it's 94.
Hell, they still might hang a banner. Depends on what they do in this postseason. Just
We beat
because, hell.
Hang it from the
damn.
Jesus.
No, I do think they match up well against Indiana. I just don't know, because when I watched Ohio State play was it Ohio State that played Indiana, and it just
Yeah.
absolute
Ohio State
shellacking,
dominated 'em.
dude. It just Indiana did not look like they even belonged on the same field. They look like a MAC team, like, and I don't mean that to be. I'm not trying to take away from what they did. That just was a rough outing for them. And to be fair, everybody's allowed a game. When was the last time Penn State? James Franklin sucks. So you're not gonna. He can't win a big game. We've already said Penn State has no. Penn State will beat one of those sissy ass
Hey,
teams.
Dees, was that at Youngstown State he was president?
Yeah, I think that's what Dees was saying.
Because who did Penn
That's what
State?
I'm saying, I want to clarify.
Penn State plays first. Who they play first? SMU.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll beat them, and everybody will be beating their chest like Penn State beat somebody good. But I want everybody to be aware that SMU's not good. SMU's in there by default.
And then they get Boise after that. So
Yeah, that's.
I
still-
mean, they've set that side of the bracket up to baby Penn State as much as possible.
and Notre Dame, and Notre
well,
Dame.
Notre Dame wins, they play Georgia.
100%, 100%. But they had to play. Somebody had to play Georgia. What I'm saying is that side of the bracket is. I told you straight up, Georgia should walk into the title game. Should walk into it.
They've had too many moments for me to think they'll walk.
But
But
you still,
there's no
as
doubt
much
it should be them against somebody for it all.
as
They
much
have
as
a
I
chance to
believe,
repeat.
yeah, as much as I believe that Gunnar Stockton does give us that extra option because he can use his legs where Carson Beck doesn't. And I heard you say it before I hopped on. It takes that liability of Carson Beck out of the game,
which is key.
But-
That is key.
He's also a young kid
Yeah.
with no serious playing time outside of the second half against Texas.
Yeah,
So
but he's going to get some practice time.
oh, absolutely. I mean, he's going to be ready. Kirby's going to have him ready.
Yeah.
And I still like he's got the arm strength. The one thing I went back and watched film on him after that game because I kind of wanted. I went all the way back to his high school highlights and stuff because I saw a few things in that second half. He had Oscar Delp open 3 different times right off of a break in the route and never saw him. And if you go back and watch his high school tape, especially, he seems like he's a Lamar Jackson type. Even if a receiver's open, he either doesn't see him or there was one highlight of his where the kid's in the end zone jumping up and down. He looks right at him and takes off running.
Oh, he's got a case of the Milrose.
Yeah, just cut him some slack. He might have been winking at his girlfriend or something. You don't know that.
Hey man, hey.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like the kid. I like the kid. He's getting thrown to the wolves. It's kind of a Cardell Jones type of situation. Your significant playing time is going to come in the championship game. So
remember
Hey,
what
Cardell Jones shined.
remember what
Yes, he did.
Fitzpatrick
And then went and beat some kid down 75-7 at the Children's Hospital in fucking NCAA football.
he said.
So-
Remember what Fitzpatrick told Tua? No, I just go ahead and enlighten us, D's. No, but in all seriousness, like I don't mean like Georgia's not going to have any issues. I think the speed of their defense is going to be a lot for the. I'm sorry, the Sisters of the Poor up there playing Penn State. They don't play anybody with speed like this, and when they do, Ohio State. What happens to Penn State? They fold like a fucking deck of cards every single year. Every single year. Notre Dame is no different. Ohio State is the only team.
oh yeah, I remember him saying that.
Yeah.
He's open.
He's not Alabama
open.
but he's open. Kid, throw it.
Yeah, that's the big
That's,
thing. That's what separates the great quarterbacks from,
That's
Throwing
that
people open.
Eli Manning mentality. Just close your eyes and fuck it. OBJ's
Yeah.
up there somewhere.
But Fitzpatrick, didn't he go to Harvard?
yes,
Some bitch
dude,
is smart.
he's smart, dude. Hey, and you know what? The sumbitch made it around the league for a fucking long time. I don't
Yeah,
care.
dude.
I don't care. That dude made money. God bless. Kudos to
By the
him.
way, Jordan, that 96 matchup between Tennessee and Ohio State is the only time those two teams have played.
Really?
Oh, so
I knew it hadn't been much.
So we can't say you played them once.
Yep. But they had to
Well,
hide the trophy
they've never
winner.
beat us.
What it up?
They've never beat us. We ain't gonna start now.
But that's how significant the seeding is in this, because going to Ohio State is significant. That's a hard place to play. Just like them coming to Knoxville would have been hard on y'all. I mean, it's hard. That's why the seeding was so disappointing to me, because they could have done way better. They could have done way better with this whole thing. But
I thought that was a joke. Sorry, because Michigan went in there and beat them.
that's true. That's true, Riddle. That's true. That's true.
I was like, where the hell did that drum come from? Now you know.
But like, and I just say that, like, playing at Alabama is a hard place to play. We play like world beaters at Alabama.
Let's face it, without the
Without
automatic bids, both teams are hosting first round games.
And that's a fucking
Absolutely.
That's what sucks about this whole thing, because you know how much revenue you make off those home playoff games? Holy shit.
Could you imagine Knoxville for a playoff game?
Oh, dude.
No one wanted.
But I mean, Ward, he's a Michigan guy, but he's still going to take care of the Big Ten. So
yeah.
And that's another thing. Who the hell decided that these damn 80-year-old geriatrics had any clue about seeding a playoff or picking the best teams in football? I mean, who the hell made that decision? There was some woman in there, looked like somebody's great-great-grandmom, and she looked like she was pushing 90. I'm sure she's a president of some university retired, but I mean, what the hell does she understand about football these days?
I wish they'd go get somebody.
I mean, she got her Paul Hornung signed jersey still hanging in the closet.
And I don't mean this, but go grab those guys that are retired. When I say retired NFL coaches, people that have been retired. You got to make it where you have a little window there. You got to be retired for so long. You know, I wouldn't want them to go get Saban and say, "Hey, or you go seed the playoffs." I wouldn't want that, but.
Or hell, like Mike Brown,
exactly.
I mean, after he's had a couple years off, get guys that have done it, have lived that life, and understand what it is.
Coached in several conferences.
Don't get Saban, because we saw that Saban was still incredibly biased to Alabama in his rant there, trying to get them in at the last hour.
Yeah, but he wasn't wrong in what he said.
Yeah, but I mean, he just said a lot of those kids are kids he recruited too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He just said it matters who you play, or if it doesn't matter, then why play them? Same thing Tony said.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, that's why I said don't pick Saban. I still agree. He is still a little biased. You could hear it in his voice. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. Let's say Alabama was 6-6. I still think Saban would have had the same bias towards any SEC program, just because I think he does. I think he holds the SEC in high regard over anybody else. That's what I believe. But
I mean, these, I'm glad Gary Pinkel's on it. But I mean, that dude should definitely be there over fucking Ward Manuel. I mean,
yeah, Gary Pinkel's not bad. I mean, I liked Gary Pinkel. He knows football. He didn't have. I mean, you know, I hate the way it turned out for him. But bottom line is, yeah. So when it first got announced and Condoleezza Rice was on it, no one could tell me why she was on it. They said, well, she's an avid football fan. I said, well, goddamn. I mean, what the fuck does that mean? Just because you're an avid fan don't mean you know shit about football.
Yeah.
Who is the Michigan State coach that was on it? Now that would be old Michigan State coach. The one that who's the old Michigan State coach? The one that was Saban.
I'm gonna have to look up who's on the committee now, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure.
Oh, somebody. I have no.
I'm assuming it's a bunch of presidents and ADs.
He's out of ammo.
Ammo.
Reload, toss a grenade.
Somebody give her a clip.
She's over showing Tony how to wax people. Showing him how to get that KD rate up.
Well, I'm washed.
So Ward Manuel, committee chair, Michigan athletic director.
Okay,
Chris Alt, former head coach at Nevada. Get the fuck out of here, man.
I mean, what the fuck does this guy know?
Yeah, Chet. Okay, so this one, Chet
Boise State.
Gladchuk, Navy athletics director. Okay, I'll give him a little bit.
I'll give him that. I'll give him that one.
I'll give him that one. Because no one knows logistics and no one knows more about, just pure probably every other day shit than probably the military. So I'll give them Jim Grobe.
Yeah, but again, I mean, they're not dealing with NIL or anything.
I know.
Again,
Yeah.
I can't give a pass to Navy's AD just because he's the AD at Navy. I mean,
Jim Grobe, former head coach at Ohio, Wake Forest, and Baylor. Okay, I'll Jim Grobe at one point at Wake Forest was decent, so I'll give him a pass. Randall McDaniel, former Arizona State player. What?
I thought you were going to say Mel McDaniel. I was going to say Louisiana Saturday night. Get down the fiddle and you get down the bowl.
Is all you got to do is play at a former team? I mean, what the fuck is anyway?
Dude, I played flag football intramurals for Montlow State. I mean, does that mean I have a spot on this committee next year?
Oh my God, Gary Pinkel. Okay, we've already said. Okay, Mac Rhodes, Baylor athletics director. Oh, here's another one. Another former success, Mike Riley, head coach at Oregon State and Nebraska. Oh my!
Fuck, could have got Bo Pelini. Hell far.
David Saylor, Miami of Ohio athletics director.
Again, fuck. I mean,
okay.
What has come out of Miami, Ohio since I haven't been?
Now I want to hear what you say about this because this dude is this is Will Shields, fucking Hall of Famer. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame player, former Nebraska player, but Hall of Fame NFL player. But does that qualify him to be on the committee? I mean, he knows football.
I mean, D said he thought he won the Outland at Nebraska when he played there. I mean, that's.
But he knows football.
We've talked about the awards tonight and how piss poor that selection process is. I mean,
but like I said, Will Shields is an NFL. He's going to be an NFL. I think he's an NFL Hall of Famer. I mean, he's good. Okay, so we'll just forget about him. Okay, because we'll put a pin in him. Kelly Whiteside. This is the grandma. I don't know if this isn't the grandma. Kelly Whiteside. Whiteside worked for USA Today for 14 years. She's a journalist. Who the fuck
and I've never heard
cares?
her once on the sports page.
Who the fuck cares what she? Anyway, this is grandma Carla Williams, Virginia athletic director.
Yeah, good Lord.
Hunter Urachek.
She should spend more time getting her kids bulletproof vests than worrying about who's in the playoff.
Hunter Urachek.
Sorry, that might be too soon.
Arkansas athletics director. So what it sounds like is they have an AD from every conference and some makeshift coaches.
I mean, and that's fine. I mean, but you can get a representative from every conference, but let it be somebody who knows what the fuck's going on.
Well, okay, so we all agree there should be an AD from every conference, right? There's an AD from every conference. We agree with that. So if you,
I don't know that I agree. There's an AD. I mean, is that not a conflict of interest?
That's what they are. I mean, that's the Michigan, the Arkansas, the Virginia, the Baylor.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't agree that they should be there just because they're an AD in the SEC. Just because you're an AD somewhere, I mean, doesn't.
Well, I don't know if there's. I'm assuming they're the ones.
I say that saying I don't know that there's a right answer for it. But
they're the ones probably voting on the playoff committee as a whole anyway. Your ADs, your whole, So I don't know.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's
it may be self-elected, but I just
so Jordan, that's 6 because I think the independent, the Navy, I think the independents get so that's 6. The other ones are failed coaches. I mean, I'm just calling it like it is. Most of these guys got fired at some job, and a couple players and a journalist. Is that the okay? So D says who should represent each conference. That's where we. Here's an idea.
I don't think it should be any active athletic director or anything like that.
Okay, that's fair.
Then you're bringing the human bias into it again.
I mean, yeah, Ward Manuel, isn't that a conflict of interest? Mm-hmm. If Michigan would have been good this year, I mean, don't think he wouldn't been there lobbying for his school.
What about Spurrier?
I mean, unless you put
Spurrier?
Somebody from like Mississippi State, in which case do you want an AD of a
God, I would actually hold up. I would absolutely love that.
Oh.
Because if Tennessee's good and relevant, he's going to be in there and be like, well, he can't spell citrus without UT.
God damn it. I'd be here for the comments because Tony would fucking have a conniption. They would have been ranked 12th in his fucking playoff. But
Have y'all looked at the highlights from the? I know you went over the SEC schedules earlier,
Yeah.
but I'm just running down this article right here. Georgia and Tennessee play on September 13th. That's the earliest the two teams have met since '95.
Mm.
Florida and Tennessee play on November 22nd, 2 days before my birthday. It's the first November matchup between those teams since 1955.
Mm.
Alabama goes to Georgia September 27th. It's their first trip there since 2015, which was Kirby's final season at Alabama. Missouri has 8 home games next year.
God damn.
Not really sure how
0-8.
that happens.
Of
0-8.
course they do.
So
They
D-
go 0-8.
Oklahoma, starting October 11th, they play the Texas in the Red River Shootout, and then it's a trip to Georgia on the 18th, a home game against Ole Miss on the 25th, and a road game at Tennessee on November 1st, 4 consecutive weeks.
they play
So they
Alabama after that at some point.
Hang on, they get Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, 4 weeks in a row. Then they get a bye week and finish the year with Alabama, Missouri, LSU.
I do like having Georgia early though, because you can always catch a team early and it's home. So
Yeah.
I do like that for the Vols.
So
For
I'm just
Oklahoma, they have the toughest
yeah,
stretch. of
D
anybody.
said put Herbie over the Big Ten. See, Herb Street, I think he does a very, very good job of not showing bias when he's calling a game. I think he does an excellent job, and that's the kind of person. I'm not saying him per se, but that's the kind of person I expect to be in the playoff committee making these decisions, because a guy that can take himself out of it and say, okay, these are the best teams. And we say whatever we want. We talked about Herb Street this week. Herb Street is not a Ohio State homer. I mean, hell, he
Not
moved,
anymore. Hell,
he
his
moved
son's
out of
going to
there.
Michigan.
Yeah, he moved out of there, and his son went to Michigan.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not a homer. He's flat out said Ohio State. Anytime he picked against them, all the fans would start giving him death threats. So he just moved. He's not an Ohio State homer. He lives in Nashville, and he loves it. So good for him. Anyway, but that's the kind of person I expect to be on the committee. I'm not saying it has to be like Jordan said. Make it a retired AD. Make it whoever. I don't give a shit. But I don't know. The playoff committees, I would at least expect it to not be some fucking person that worked for USA Today and that's their only qualification. That does not tell me that you know football at all. Like I said, there should be some.
What are you talking about, Dees? With when did Florida have a football team that played before Spurrier? I don't understand.
I think you're just talking
It just
about when
means
were
they
they
sucked.
relevant.
They sucked.
Spurrier.
Oh, they were before Spurrier. I remember my grandpa telling me, as a kid, and he had season tickets to Knoxville till they fired Johnny Majors for Fat Phil. But him and my grandma both said the hell Florida was damn awful before Spurrier got there. They
Yeah.
have a solid year once in a while, but they were not anything at all.
They probably
Until
hadn't been
Spurrier
relevant.
started beating DeVry 98-2.
Spurrier, when he played there and won the Heisman,
Yeah,
was probably the last
Now
time they were relevant.
hold the fuck on. Look, I might get canceled for this, but let's be honest. Spurrier won the Heisman what? When did he win the Heisman? Give me the year. Tell me the year.
When segregation was going on.
No.
Hang on, I'll tell you. Give me one second.
Give me the year.
God damn.
1966.
That's
Spurrier won the Heisman in 1966 when all the black kids were off dying in Vietnam. Let's face it.
Oh
That's when he won the Heisman.
Damn.
I mean, hey, it's facts. It is what it is.
Yeah.
He won a Heisman when most of your athletes didn't have a way out of the draft, and they were over dying in Vietnam.
So
And
okay.
Spurs win the Heisman out here out of Science Hill.
with that logic, then that means we shouldn't count Army and Navy's titles between 1941 and 45 because everybody was dying in the fucking World War II.
D's the only 1950 comment I was speaking of is this Tennessee and Florida. This is the first time they've played in November since 1955. Because
Anyway.
usually, they play the second or third week of the year normally.
Yeah, the only time we didn't play them was that year,
2001, the
September 11th. We played them like December.
Yeah.
It was the week before that. if I'm not mistaken, they pushed the SEC game back a week that year to get that game in because I mean, hell, they had to. It was had the title game, or had Tennessee, whoever won that game was in, so they had to push it back a week.
All right. Well, we're going to start wrapping up. I have to go to Murfreesboro tomorrow. So, with
I
that
had to do that
said,
twice this week.
so
Yeah,
Before we go-
show Tony and Jeff how to reach and get it tomorrow.
before we go, Tony Riddle won't be on this weekend. Jordan, are you going to be on this weekend?
Yeah, I should be on here for a while Saturday. I'm
So
a bit as
no-
late as usual because I got to work Sunday. But
Well, that's fine, but no structure. We'll just we'll wing it and just
We'll hit
shoot
up
the
the chat like
shoot the
always.
shit with the fans and
now, I don't know why y'all don't carry a phone and set up there and live
I
stream.
mean,
We'd
we'll
like to
have a
talk to that
phone
as
but
well.
I don't know if you've heard about A Crew's Christmas parties.
Oh, I've heard all about Christmas parties.
you've
I
heard
done
about
told y'all tequila and tacos. What could possibly go wrong?
All right,
I'm not
so-
drinking, so
yeah, good for you,
We're
smart
good.
man.
That's what he says.
Smart man.
That's what he
All
says.
right. Till Kelvin puts that shine in front of him.
nope, can't do it.
All right.
Not doing it.
But it's over.
Thank you guys for listening to this week's weekend roundup on Lock, Loaded, and Goated. We'll be back on Saturday at 8:30. Half of us will anyway, to review all the weekend madness and give some honest feedback of the day's events. We look forward to seeing you then. Remember, you can find this podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast as we do this for you and love your feedback. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you all soon. Bye, guys.